Maki Kanata's mother forced him to go on a blind date. To his surprise, the person who showed up was a mature, elegant woman. She even mentioned that she had a daughter who was 5 years younger than him. As soon as Maki Kanata saw the photo of her daughter, who happened to be his school beauty ex-girlfriend, he quickly insisted that age was not an issue. However, the woman unexpectedly suggested that if he didn't mind, they should just go and register their marriage immediately. This sentence caused Maki Kanata's brain to short-circuit. Only then did he realize that she was actually his blind date. Noticing his strange reaction, Yanagi-ena's expression turned cold. "What do you mean by that?" she asked. Gritting his teeth, he replied, "I'm sorry, I thought the blind date was with your daughter. I didn't realize it was you." After saying that, he rushed out of the room. But before he could take 2 steps, 2 burly men quickly seized him. They stuffed him into the back seat of a Rolls-Royce, and Yanagi-ena followed closely behind, entering the car. With a look of helplessness, Maki Kanata asked, "Is this a kidnapping?" "I am kidnapping you," she replied, before instructing the driver to head to the Civil Affairs Bureau. Feeling confused, he asked, "What are we doing at the Civil Affairs Bureau?" Yanagi-ena took 2 household registration booklets out of her bag and waved them in front of his eyes. To his shock, one of them belonged to his family. He was stunned. Had his mother actually sold him out? Yanagi-ena smiled and said, "How could that be? Your mother and I are best friends. She likes me very much, so she gave me the booklet so we could register our marriage right after the date." He felt helpless. "We really aren't a match. There's a generational gap. Your daughter is almost the same age as me." Yanagi-ena spoke up fiercely. "Are you suggesting I'm old and unattractive?" He shook his head and sighed. "You are excellent and beautiful, but the generational difference is something I can't get over mentally." Hearing this, Yanagi-ena suddenly laughed. "What you care about is whether I am pure, right?" Maki Kanata nodded awkwardly. "Isn't that just a mental germophobia? I have it even worse than you. I feel uncomfortable whenever I have close contact with the opposite sex." He looked surprised. "Then what about me?" she replied firmly. "It doesn't happen when I'm with you." Only then did he understand why she was so insistent on having him, yet he remained puzzled. Seeing his confusion, Yanagi-ena guaranteed, "I promise I haven't had a first time. Anyone who knows me knows I've never been in a relationship. My daughter was adopted from an orphanage. If you don't believe me, you can check the adoption papers or ask your mother." Maki Kanata figured his mother must know the truth since they were best friends. He chose to believe her. There was no reason for her to lie, as such a lie would eventually be exposed. By then, the car had arrived at the entrance of the Civil Affairs Bureau. Yanagi-ena looked at him and said, "All right, we're here. I've explained my situation clearly, and your biggest concern is no longer an issue. I'll ask you one last time. Are you willing to marry me?" Maki Kanata fell into deep thought. In terms of status, Yanagi-ena was worth hundreds of billions. Marrying her meant he would never have to struggle again. In terms of looks, she was the most beautiful woman he had ever seen. Her age was completely negligible. Now that the issue of her purity had been cleared up, his doubts vanished. He was truly starting to feel a spark of attraction. At that moment, a voice rang out in his mind. "Please host, make a choice. Option 1. Reject Yanagi-ena and leave immediately. The system will disappear. Option 2. Register the marriage with Yanagi-ena. The system will be activated." Though startled by the voice, as a veteran web novel reader of 10 years, he immediately recognized this as a cheat system. He chose the second option without hesitation, even without a system. Yanagi-ena's conditions were tempting enough. She was stunning, had a perfect figure, and only had feelings for him. Who could resist that? "Maki Kanata, are you unwilling?" Yanagi-ena asked softly. Seeing the sadness and disappointment in her eyes, his heart softened. "Do you really want to be with me that much?" She nodded immediately. "Then let's go get registered." He took her hand and got out of the car. Half an hour later, they walked out of the Civil Affairs Bureau, clutching their marriage certificates. A system prompt echoed in his head. "Congratulations to the host for activating the system. The God-level Toy Boy system has been activated." Maki Kanata almost tripped. The name sounded completely suspicious. When he came back to his senses, he realized they had arrived at a luxury villa district. "Sister, where are we?" She gripped his arm tightly. "Isn't it time to change how you address me?" He scratched his head awkwardly. Having never been in a relationship and jumping straight into a marriage, the transition was too sudden. After a few failed attempts to call her something else, he tried to stall, saying he wasn't used to it yet. However, Yanagi-ena wouldn't have it. She leaned close and acted spoiled. "I want you to do it now, okay?" Her voice was sweet and pleading, while her stunning figure moved against him in his arms. Maki Kanata was stunned, feeling his heart race. She was like a shape-shifting enchantress, sometimes cold as an iceberg, other times lively and cute. If she kept this up, he wouldn't be able to control himself. All right, I promise." Having succeeded, Yanagi Anna looked up and stared directly at him. "Wife," she immediately responded, "Hubby," and gave him a kiss. Before he could say anything, she cried out, "Hubby, you're blushing. You're so pure. My little milk dog, hubby, let your wife take a good look at you. You're so cute. I love you so much." She continued to ramble while ruffling his hair and stroking his face. She was acting just like a child. Fortunately, she stopped after a while as they reached a specific villa. A man in a suit was waiting at the door. Seeing Yanagi Anna, he hurried forward. "President Liu, I am Hidong-ching, the manager of Guli-Yunju. The contract for the villa you ordered is ready." He handed the contract to her. She took it and handed it to Maki Kanata. "You asked where we were earlier. Once you sign this will be our home." Hidong-ching stood there dumbfounded. Men had been lining up from here to France to pursue Yanagi Anna, yet this young man had actually won her over. He had hoped to make a good impression, but seeing how gentle she was with Maki Kanata, he could only hide his jealousy. After the paperwork was finished, he took his leave. Maki Kanata and Yanagi Anna began to tour the luxurious villa. After a while, she leaned in close. "Do you like this villa?" "I do. Who wouldn't like such a luxury home?" "Then don't you think I deserve a reward?" she asked with a mischievous glint in her eyes. Maki Kanata was confused. He didn't have anything valuable enough to offer in exchange for such an expensive house. Then she pursed her shimmering lips, waiting. He swallowed hard, his heart rate accelerating. He leaned in and they shared a clumsy, passionate kiss until they were both breathless. Just then, the system voice rang again. "Ding! Congratulations, host. For your first time living off a woman, you have obtained one villa worth 46.8 million. Reward: genetic medicine. Total assets exceeded 40 million. Reward: 48% shares of Hongyan Group." Fearing she would think he was a lunatic, he forced himself to suppress his excitement. News that the rich flower Yanagi Anna had married quickly exploded. Various elites and onlookers were left in shock and heartbreak. Bang! An arrogant young man burst into Hidong-ching's office. Hidong-ching looked up but immediately swallowed his anger when he saw who it was. The young man ignored him, sat in the office chair, leaned back, and kicked his feet up on the cabinet. Faced with such arrogance, Hidong-ching greeted him humbly. "Young Master Wang, what brings you to the company today?" The visitor was Wang Yaolin, the son of the president of Qingshan Real Estate. He asked coldly, "What's the deal with this guy named Maki Kanata?" Hidong-ching breathed a sigh of relief. "Young Master Wang, I've never heard of such a person before either. Useless! Get out!" Wang Yaolin walked to the floor-to-ceiling window filled with hatred. He had pursued her for years, knowing she had high standards. He couldn't believe she had married an unknown brat. Maki Kanata and Yanagi Anna had already moved in together. She lay on top of him in black silk pajamas, teasing, "Baby hubby, why is your face so red?" Unable to handle the heat, he said, "It's too hot. I'm going to take a shower first." Her eyes lit up as she followed him. "Let's wash together." Later that night in the bedroom, she lay in his arms with a satisfied expression. "Your muscles are quite firm." Maki Kanata felt a bit guilty. His physique was the result of the system's genetic medicine. Just then, his phone rang. It was a video call from his mother. "Where did you run off to after the blind date instead of coming home?" his mother barked. He tried to stammer out an explanation, but his mother noticed something. "You little brat, why aren't you wearing any clothes?" At that point, Yanagi Anna took the phone. "Sister Ru, Maki Kanata and I have already registered our marriage." Seeing Yanagi Anna's glowing face and Maki Kanata's bare chest, Liuru burst into laughter. "That's wonderful! Sister, what do you think of my son?" Yanagi Anna thought for a moment and said shyly, "Maki Kanata, he is very capable." Both Maki Kanata and his mother were stunned. Was this really something a billionaire CEO would say? He grabbed the phone back to explain. Liuru interrupted him. "You are both adults and legally married now. There's nothing to say. Just remember, treat her well, or you're no son of mine." Maki Kanata blushed with embarrassment in front of his mother. "I will." As soon as he finished, Yanagi Anna took control of the video again. The two women chatted for over half an hour, nearly boring Maki Kanata to sleep. Suddenly, his mother's shout woke him up. "Maki Kanata, I'm happy Sister Leo married you, but if you're not good to her, I'll teach you a lesson. He felt a bit depressed. Was this really his biological mother? If they ever fought, he'd have nowhere to go. He won't, Sister Yuru. I believe in Maki Kanata. He's very good. After hanging up, Yanagi-ena hugged him. What's wrong? Is my baby hubby unhappy? He pretended to be angry. You get along so well with her, I'm afraid she'll kick me out of the house. She laughed and kissed him. No, don't be mad. I'll make it up to you. She pulled a bank card from her bag. There's 5 million in here. Spend it however you like. I'll deposit more regularly. This was the allowance she promised during the date. He hadn't expected it to be so much. It's so sweet. I don't need my dignity as a man anymore, he thought. The system chimed. Congratulations, host. Obtained 5 million. God-level cooking skills activated. Just as he was thinking, her stomach growled. He placed a hand on her belly and asked, "Hungry?" She hid under the covers playfully. "We've been tossing and turning all day, of course I'm hungry." With a look full of love, he got up and headed to the kitchen. She followed and sat on the sofa watching him. "Will we always be together?" He answered seriously. "As long as you never leave me, I will stay with you until death." She moved to hug him tightly, tears welling up in her eyes. "All right, I'll have the stir-fry ready soon." She nodded obediently and watched him work. He handled the wok and spatula with perfect rhythm, tossing spices with ease. Everything flowed like water. It was as if he were possessed by a god of cooking. "I didn't know you were so good at cooking, and you look so handsome doing it," she said. "The food isn't for looking at. The taste is what matters. Let's eat." As she got up to help, she accidentally touched a hot pot and got a small blister. He rushed over to check. "Does it hurt?" She nodded, tears in her eyes. "It's okay, let me take care of it." He brought out a first aid kit. Watching him treat her wound with such care, her heart warmed. She had always been a strong woman, fighting alone in the business world, but now she felt she could finally be herself. "All right, let's eat." "Weren't you hungry?" Seeing the food, her mood brightened. She tried a rib and exclaimed, "This is too delicious. Hubby, you're amazing. This is the best food I've ever had." "Maybe you're just hungry," he said, though he was secretly shocked by his own skills. After a while, he noticed her getting restless. She began to tease him with her foot under the table. "We're eating, don't mess around." She just smirked and continued. He decided to teach her a lesson by grabbing her foot and tickling it. "It's so itchy. Hubby, I won't do it again. Stinky hubby." He finally let go. "That's what happens when you don't eat properly," she pouted. "I'll do it again next time." After cleaning up, they went back to the bedroom. Her phone rang. He caught a glimpse of the caller ID, daughter Yanagi Ruin. Memories of their first meeting flooded his mind. He had been the one to welcome her when she first arrived at the university. They had become close in the student union, but then, "Hello, Yinyan, what's up?" Yanagi-ena answered. "Can I call you just because? I miss you. I'm coming home for National Day." Ruyan's voice sounded soft and cute. Maki Kanata had never heard her talk like that. "Perfect. I have good news. You have a father now." Ruyan was shocked. "Mom, really? You found someone you like?" "You'll know when you get back. We've already registered and moved in together. He's not old, only 2 or 3 years older than you." "What, almost my age?" "Mom, you're joking." "It's the truth." Ruyin fell silent, clearly struggling to process this. "I know it's a lot to take in, but I love him very much. I hope you can support me." Maki Kanata stood by, feeling anxious and uneasy. With no response from the other end, Yanagi-ena had to hang up. Maki Kanata was even more worried that Ruyan didn't realize her new father was her former senior. "Do you think she'll accept it?" Yanagi-ena asked worriedly. He patted her back. "Give her time. She just needs to process it." To cheer her up, he teased, "If she never accepts me, would you leave me?" She shook her head. "Of course not. Nothing can stop us. She's your daughter. She wants you to be happy. As long as we are happy together, she will come around." His words moved her, and she snuggled back into his arms. On the other side, Ruyan screamed once the call ended, startling her roommates. She ended up telling them everything. Her roommates were stunned but comforted her, saying her mother's choice must be someone extraordinary. Ruyan began to feel better. "You're right, whoever my mom picks must be special." She began to look forward to meeting her new dad. That night, holding Yanagi-ena, Maki Kanata worried about the upcoming holiday but eventually drifted off to sleep. The next morning, he woke up to find someone watching him. Yanagi-ena gave him a passionate morning kiss. "Good morning!" He felt a reaction immediately. "Why up so early? Not used to it? She shook her head. After all these years, having a man to sleep with is pure bliss. She looked energetic, though he noticed dark circles under her eyes. He massaged her eyes gently. You have to sleep well to stay healthy. I'm fine. I was just excited last night. Let's get up, we have to go out. He stopped pestering her to sleep and got ready. The system spoke. Daily asset increase reward has arrived. He checked his phone. 5.18 million had been deposited. Are you ready? He walked out to find breakfast on the table. I'm not great at this. It might not taste good, she whispered. She rarely entered the kitchen. Thanks, wife. I love anything you make. He sat her down. His praise made her beam. Am I dreaming? How did I end up with someone as good as you? Remembering her joke with his mother, he teased, Where am I good? In physical strength? My little milk dog hubby has great stamina, she said boldly, sliding a hand under his shirt. He grinned. You have no idea what you're stirring up. He silenced her with a kiss, and things almost got out of hand on the sofa before they finally calmed down. After bathing, she dressed in a black leather skirt and a shirt, a look that was both pure and alluring. He felt his heart skip a beat again. Seeing his look, she chickened out. No more! We have to leave! Little coward. You're the one who started the fire. They finally headed out. Once in the car, he asked, Where are we going? But she kept her mouth shut. You're really teasing me now, she blushed. Don't call me that. I'm not telling. He leaned in and whispered in her ear. Really? She immediately surrendered to her weakness. We're gonna buy a car. He was thrilled that she remembered her promise of a sports car and gave her a kiss. They arrived at an exhibition hall and were ushered into the VIP area. Maki Kanata's eyes lit up at the luxury cars. Every single one was a masterpiece. Seeing his conflicted face, she asked, Nothing you like? I like them all too much. I don't know which to pick. How about we buy them all? The room went silent. Are you joking? That would cost a fortune, she smiled. Only about 400 or 500 million. We can afford it. As long as you like them, I'm happy to pay. The onlookers were speechless. As he was about to refuse, a voice called out behind them. Sister Yanran! A woman in a suit approached. You really have a boyfriend? Yanagi Anna pulled him closer. This is my husband, Maki Kanata. And Maki Kanata, this is my good friend, Sato Yui. You actually melted our ice queen? Ying Ying was shocked. We love each other very much, Yanagi Anna said, looking at him with adoration. No wonder you suddenly wanted to visit a car show. It was for your man, of course. I have to treat my man the best. Sister, can I buy out all the cars in your hall? Ying Ying was stunned. But you never cared for cars. My husband likes them, so I'm buying them all. He tried to speak, but she stopped him. Money means nothing to me. You are my love, and I want you to have the best. Don't refuse. The system chimed. Congratulations, host. Obtained 7 luxury cars worth 86 million. Reward, 22% shares of Hongyan Group. Level up to level 2. Daily increase raised to 20%. Seeing him happy, she suggested they go shopping at Excellence Plaza. She spent the whole time buying things for him, ignoring the women's stores entirely. He became her tool as she dressed him from head to toe, further enhancing his looks. Hubby, you're too handsome. I regret it now. All the girls are looking at you, he laughed. Wife, are you blind to your own beauty? He turned her toward a glass pane. You're the most beautiful woman to me. Why would I ever leave you? She blushed, her eyes filled with happiness. Sweet talker. He pulled her close and teased her, making her laugh uncontrollably. After playing around for a while, Maki Kanata asked Yanagi Anna to stretch out her hand. He took a black hair tie from her right wrist and slipped it onto his own. What's this for? Yanagi Anna asked, not quite understanding. He shook his right hand and said, This is a declaration of sovereignty. From now on, when I wear this, anyone who sees it will know I'm a man who needs to tie his wife's hair. That way, no one will dare try to hit on your husband. Overjoyed, Yanagi Anna threw herself into his arms. Hubby, you're the best. Suddenly, a sharp voice broke the moment. Don't you think this is a bit inappropriate? Maki Kanata turned around to see a man dressed in a high-end suit approaching them. Yanagi Anna instinctively frowned. What does it have to do with you? Who is he? Maki Kanata asked. Just someone insignificant, she replied. And very annoying, too. He has zero self-awareness. Seeing them ignore him, the man in the suit grit his teeth so hard they nearly shattered. Yanagi Anna, how am I inferior to this guy? I've chased you for 5 years, and you won't even give me a second glance. Why? Yanagi Anna responded calmly. It was always one-sided. I've never taken you seriously and have rejected you clearly many times. I'm married now, so stop pestering me." Wang Yaolin refused to back down. "Are you just blinded by his face? He has no money, no power. He's just a pretty boy. You'll regret this one day." The tension rose. Maki Kanata stepped forward. "Wang Yaolin, right? Where do you get the confidence to say you can make Yanran happy? You chased her for 5 years and couldn't even get a look. Yet we got married the very day we met. It's pretty obvious which one of us is the failure here. You're just a toy boy. You don't have my wealth or my status." Maki Kanata didn't care at all. "Look at your irritability, your night sweats, and those puffy eyelids. Every single one of those is a classic symptom of kidney deficiency." Losing his mind, Wang Yaolin ordered the 4 burly bodyguards behind him to attack. Yanagi Enna stepped in front of Maki Kanata. "Wang Yaolin, if you touch a single hair on my husband's head, I will ruin your entire family." But Wang Yaolin was beyond reason. "Go! Beat the brat to death!" As the 4 men closed in, Maki Kanata gently pulled Yanagi Enna behind him. In his eyes, their movements were as slow as ants. He dodged effortlessly and struck several pressure points. Within seconds, they were writhing on the ground in pain. After dealing with the thugs, Maki Kanata gave Wang Yaolin a provocative look. "Is that it? You can't even touch me." Enraged, Wang Yaolin charged forward himself. Maki Kanata met him with a sharp slap and a kick that sent him face-planting into the dirt like a dog. Wang Yaolin didn't dare lift his head, feeling the eyes of the gathering crowd on him. Hearing their whispers, he finally broke down and started sobbing silently into the pavement. A team of security guards rushed over, causing the crowd to scatter. They helped Wang Yaolin up. Seeing they were his father's security, Wang Yaolin regained his nerve. "I'm the son of Wang Yongkang, a shareholder of this plaza. That kid just hurt me. Beat him up." Despite the tears on his face, his expression was incredibly arrogant. "What are you doing? Hit him. Where are you taking me? I'm the son of a shareholder." But the guards ignored him completely and carried him away like a piece of luggage. Once the matter settled, Yanagi Enna let out a cold snort. Back at the company, she roared, "Where were my bodyguards? I encountered danger at Excellence Plaza today and not a single security person appeared. Find out what happened immediately." Seeing her fury for the first time, Maki Kanata marveled silently. For the CEO of a multi-billion-dollar group to have a total security lapse like that was indeed suspicious. A moment later, Yanagi Enna's face transformed. She clung to his arm, beaming. "How are you so strong? Have you studied martial arts? You took those big guys down so easily." Maki Kanata gave a vague answer. "Maybe they just weren't in very good health." She smiled, and though she was curious, she didn't push further. "By the way, why didn't those guards help Wang Yaolin? Why did they carry him off?" Maki Kanata knew the truth. The security at Excellence Plaza knew exactly who he was. Wang Yaolin's father was a shareholder, but the Hongyang Group held the controlling interest, and since Maki Kanata owned the vast majority of Hongyan, removing the Wang family was just a matter of one sentence. Meanwhile, Wang Yaolin was still cursing in an office when a figure appeared and delivered a stinging slap to his face. Before he could even process the anger to strike back, a second slap landed, leaving perfectly symmetrical handprints on both cheeks. "Open your dog eyes and see who I am." Covering his face, Wang Yaolin heard the familiar voice and trembled. "Dad? Why did you hit me? Why aren't you helping me?" he wailed, feeling utterly wronged. Wang Yongkang was even more furious. "You failure! How did I raise a son like you? Do you have any idea what you did today? You almost drove our entire family into a dead end." "But that Maki Kanata is just a nobody. I checked. He just got lucky and hooked up with Yanagi Enna," Wang Yaolin argued. "A nobody? Do you know who he is?" "He's the major shareholder holding 70% of the Hongyan Group." Stunned, Wang Yaolin stammered, "Dad, then what do we do?" Wang Yongkang sighed helplessly. "We can only go to his door and beg for forgiveness on our knees." By evening, Maki Kanata and Yanagi Enna walked to a restaurant on the 118th floor of the Excellence Tower. "This place has a great atmosphere," he praised. Yanagi Enna said proudly, "I own many of the restaurants in Excellence Plaza. From now on, you can eat whatever you want, whenever you want." Maki Kanata chuckled to himself. He wondered how she'd react if she knew he actually owned the entire plaza. Soon, the table was covered in delicacies. "Try the food. I hired a top chef specifically for this place, though it's still a bit worse than yours." He smiled, took a bite of greens, and then set his chopsticks down to hold her hand. Feeling her soft skin, he leaned in when she told him she wanted to make the dining experience even better. Curiously, he leaned closer, only for her to pull him onto her lap and feed him a piece of roasted duck. A system prompt rang. Ding! Congratulations, host, on your first time being hand-fed. Reward God-level driving skills. It seemed the system classified this as living off a woman too. As she fed him one bite after another, the rewards poured in. Total assets plus 200 million RMB. His total wealth broke 200 million, and he received a 3-day event information sheet for Hyben City, a tool that could predict the future. After resting in the private room for a bit, Yanagi Ena's phone rang. Hubby, Ying Ying says the car paperwork is all done. We can drive them back anytime. Maki Kanata's eyes sparkled. Back at the car show, he chose the Aston Martin 177, a masterpiece limited to only 77 units worldwide. Under the gaze of the crowd, he roared the engine to life and merged into heavy traffic without losing a bit of speed. Instead of being scared by his high-speed maneuvers, Yanagi Ena watched him with stars in her eyes. Hubby, you look so cool driving, just like in the movies. He couldn't help but laugh. All right, let's head to the outskirts for a real drive. While they enjoyed the thrill, the scene at the car show was uploaded to the internet. Because of the rapid plot twists and the presence of 2 top-tier beauties, the video went viral instantly. Yanagi Ruin saw the video while scrolling. She recognized her mother immediately. My mom usually hates sports cars. She must have bought it for my dad, so that man in the driver's seat is my new father? She squinted at the screen. The man looked more familiar the longer she looked. They returned to the Yunli mansion. Upon stepping out, Yanagi Ena's face was slightly flushed, and her legs felt weak, causing her to collapse onto the lawn. Maki Kanata rushed to help her, but she pulled him down with her. They lay together on the grass. He held her close, breathing in her scent and enjoying the quiet comfort. I love you so much. I'm so happy with you, she whispered. She remembered her life before him. Lonely, burying herself in work after her daughter left for college. Now she had someone to eat and shop with. Hubby, we'll stay together forever, right? He could feel her fear that this was all a fleeting dream. He held her tight. Yes, we'll be together always, happy and content. Filled with a sense of security and exhausted from the day's excitement, she gradually fell asleep in the cool breeze. With a smile, Maki Kanata gently carried her back to her room as night fell. The next morning, the system chimed. Daily asset increase reward has arrived. He received a text. 40 million RMB had been added to his account. He truly had more money than he could spend. Meanwhile, Wang Yongkang and his son were driving toward the villa. Stopping at the gate, Wang Yaolin looked through the iron bars. Dad, is this it? Wang Yongkang slapped him. Our company sold this house to her. Do you think I get it wrong? Fix your attitude. Maki Kanata is the controlling shareholder of the Hongyan Group. Apologize sincerely. If we don't get his forgiveness, we'll be begging for food on the streets. They rang the bell, but minutes passed with no answer. Inside, Maki Kanaka and Yanagi Ena were relaxing in the media room watching a movie, completely unaware of the visitors. Under the scorching September sun, the Wangs were drenched in sweat. If you can't wait, go home and wait for the family to be destroyed, Wang Yongkang snapped. Wang Yaolin shivered and continued to wait. When the movie ended, the couple headed to the kitchen for a one-on-one cooking lesson. Maki Kanata was a perfectionist teacher, and Yanagi Ena was a focused student. 2 hours later, she had mastered 4 dishes. Outside, the Wangs had been standing in the heat for 6 hours. Dizzied, Wang Yaolin fell and was scorched by the hot ground. Dad, let's go eat and come back, he pleaded. Wang Yongkang kicked him over. You ungrateful son, how dare you complain? Finally, the villa door opened. Wang Yongkang rushed forward. President Mu, we're here specifically to apologize to you and President Liu. Wang Yaolin snapped into action, bowing repeatedly. President Mu, President Liu, I'm so sorry. I was ignorant and rash. Please find it in your hearts to forgive me. I promise it will never happen again. Maki Kanata was baffled. Wang Yongkang shoved a heavy object into his arms. President Mu, this is our apology gift. Please accept it. It was a sandalwood box with golden patterns, gleaming under the light. Yesterday was a misunderstanding. I will keep a strict eye on my son from now on. I promise he will never cross your path again, Wang Yongkang explained. Maki Kanata nodded helplessly. Fine, but take this gift back. The two men looked terrified, frantically explaining that their apology was sincere. Seeing that they wouldn't leave without him accepting it, he sighed. All right, I'll take it. Back inside, the system chimed again. Between the living off her rewards and the meal she fed him earlier, he had gained another 200 million and 50 million respectively. His total soft rice assets broke the 300 million mark. The reward was incredible, God-level physical recovery. According to the system, as long as he didn't die instantly, he could recover from any injury, no matter how severe. Yanagi-ena walked over. What are you thinking about? Before he could answer, her phone rang. After a short chat, she hung up. Hubby, I'm so sorry. There's an emergency meeting at the company. I have to go now and can't have dinner with you. He was surprised. A meeting at 6 p.m.? Is it that important? Yes, it's about the company's development for the rest of the year. I'll drive you. Despite the rush hour, Maki Kanata's skills got them to the Shuangmu Group building in record time. Her assistant ran out and froze when she saw them. And you are? He smiled. Hello, I'm Yanagi-ena's husband, Maki Kanata. The assistant's mouth fell open and a stir went through the 62nd floor. He's my husband, Yanagi-ena confirmed with a smile. The assistant, Xiao Yu, snapped out of it. The people from the row group are waiting in the meeting room. Should we head in? Yanagi-ena nodded. Hubby, do you want to come to the meeting with me? No? You go ahead. After she left, a woman in a uniform and black heels approached him. Mr. Mu, I'm G.U. Weiwei. Let me show you to President Liu's office. In the spacious office, Maki Kanata quickly got bored. He remembered the 3-day event information sheet in his system space. September 10th, 6:05 p.m. A man named Da will find a lottery ticket worth 1.68 million in front of a ramen shop. September 12th, wheat prices will soar to 2,890 RMB per ton. He checked the current wheat futures. They were at 2,214 RMB. Seeing a potential 30% profit, he leveraged his 50 million and bought into wheat futures. He kept reading until he saw an entry about Yanagi-ena's company. Shuangmu Group will face a crisis after its new product launch due to severe quality issues. Stock will plummet by 30%, leading to lawsuits and potential bankruptcy. Realizing the gravity, he sprinted out and found G.U. Weiwei. Where is Yanran? Is the meeting over? Startled by his urgency, she led him straight to the conference room. Inside, Yanagi-ena's face was grim. The negotiations with the row group were going poorly. They were demanding a higher profit share and imposing harsh conditions. Shuangmu Group found it hard to accept, but refusing would also cause a massive blow. A young man across from her looked triumphant, as if he knew they would be forced to sign the unfair contract. The executives of Shuangmu Group all looked distressed. President Liu, you've thought about it long enough. If you're not satisfied, we can always go talk to the Xi'an Group instead. The young man threatened. The room fell into an even deeper gloom. Just then, Maki Kanata burst in. This partnership? We don't need it. Everyone turned. Liu Kailei froze when he saw Maki Kanata, his eyes flashing with hostility. Maki Kanata hadn't expected to see his college classmate Liu Kailei here. In university, Liu Kailei was a power-hungry, jealous man who hated anyone better than him. Maki Kanata had surpassed him in looks, grades, and popularity, making him Kailei's primary target for years. Don't partner with them, Maki Kanata said, relieved they hadn't signed yet. Why? An executive asked. If we don't, our losses will be huge. The row group's new product has severe quality and safety issues. If Shuangmu Group acts as the agent, the consequences will be disastrous. The row group representatives roared in anger. Who are you? We can sue you for defamation for saying that! Maki Kanata ignored them and walked to Yanagi-ena. Do you trust me? They locked eyes. She smiled and nodded. I trust you. She turned to the row group. I'm sorry, but we cannot accept your terms. There will be no partnership. The row group team panicked. They didn't think she would actually walk away. President Liu, consider this. You're going to blow a major deal because of a few words from him? Do you know the consequences? That is our company's business. You don't need to worry about it, she replied coldly. Liu Kailei was stunned. If the deal failed, he would be the one in trouble back at his own company. He didn't have as much leverage as he pretended. His tone softened. We've been friends for years, no need to be hasty. Let's talk about the terms again, we can negotiate. But Yanagi-ena had made up her mind. I've made myself clear, please leave. Just you wait, Liu Kele spat before storming out. An executive asked, Mr. Mu, is it true about the quality issues? How do you know it will cause skin problems for consumers? I have my channels. You'll see the truth soon enough. The room was silent as the executives began to worry about how they would fill the gap in their product line. Maki Kanata spoke up. With such high profits, why hasn't Shuangmu Group developed its own products? Relying on others means your lifeline is in their hands. Mr. Mu, it's not that simple. We invest billions into R&D every year, but our foundation is thin. We haven't had a breakthrough. Maki Kanata's eyes brightened. If I had a top-tier perfume formula that the market has never seen before, would that solve the crisis? The executives looked at each other. A top-tier formula? Only major international luxury groups have those. Maki Kanata pretended to pull a document from his person. It was the 1,000 cents formula he had received as a reward earlier. It was a perfume that smelled different to every person. A revolutionary product. Impossible. How could such a perfume exist? The executives doubted. As the debate grew, Yanagi Ena's voice rang out firmly. I believe him. She took his hand, silencing the room. He smiled. We can make a sample first. If it works, we mass produce. If not, we find another way. Everyone agreed. Old Wang, the R&D head, promised to have a sample by tonight. The executives left, closing the door behind them. Immediately, Yanagi Ena leaned in close, her eyes sparkling. What? Why are you staring? He asked, feeling shy. I'm just seeing how amazing my husband is. You have a magical formula and somehow knew about the quality issues at Roe. He coughed. I had a dream an old man with a white beard told me. He couldn't reveal the system yet. It was for her safety. She nodded seriously. I believe you. Her unconditional trust moved him. He pulled her into a hug, feeling incredibly lucky. She had abandoned a major partnership just because he said so, without a single shred of evidence. Since old Wang was busy with the sample, they left the office. Maki Kanata remembered something. Didn't you say you were taking me somewhere mysterious and exciting tonight? She gave a mysterious smile. You'll see. She took the driver's seat of the Aston Martin. They pulled up at the Noah 5-star hotel. The name sounded familiar to Maki Kanata. He remembered his information sheet mentioned an auction there today. A piece of land in Yalong Bay would sell for 30 million, but it actually contained a Dreamstar sea stone worth 4.68 billion. They took their seats. The auction was filled with the wealthy, for whom money was just a number. It was indeed exciting. A 62.8-carat diamond sold for 168 million, a price that made Maki Kanata question the buyer's intelligence, given how common diamonds actually are. She asked if he liked anything. When the Yalong Bay land came up, his eyes lit up. I need to get that. She was confused. The land was remote and had no development value, which is why it hadn't been sold privately. I just want it, she smiled. If my hubby wants it, he gets it. When the bidding hit 30 million and stalled, she raised her hand. 31 million! 31 million! Any higher? The auctioneer called. All eyes were on Yanagi Ena. Wait! Another lady has bid 35 million. A middle-aged woman with heavy makeup looked at them provocatively. That's Liao Shiyun, the chairwoman of Shiyun Group, Yanagi Ena whispered. They were longtime rivals. 36 million! 37 million! The bidding went back and forth. Liu Shiyun was clearly just trying to spite them. Yanagi Ena was ready to give up as the price exceeded the land's value. Let her have it, Maki Kanata whispered. He knew Yanagi Ena wanted to win the moral victory more than the land, and he had other ways to get the property back later. She stopped bidding and sat back with a victorious smile. Sold! To Ms. Liu for 39 million. Liu Shiyun's face paled. Maki Kanata and Yanagi Ena turned to look at her with mocking expressions, making her grit her teeth in rage. Yanagi Ena couldn't hide her smirk. After the auction, they found Liu Shiyun waiting for them at the exit. Before she could speak, Maki Kanata said, Are you waiting to thank us for letting you have that land? We aren't dumb enough to spend 39 million on a useless plot. Yanagi Ena burst out laughing. Liu Shiyun was livid. Knowing she had just wasted 39 million made her blood boil. 39 million is pocket change, Liu Shiyun sneered. Yanagi Ena, I don't know what you were thinking rejecting the Roe Group. We've already signed with them. When their new product launches, we'll make 10 times that amount easily. Shuangmu Group is finished. She was ecstatic at the thought of finally surpassing her rival. She kept gloating, unaware that the couple was looking at her like she was the world's biggest sucker. Why aren't you saying anything? Regretting your choice? Yanagi Anna giggled. We rejected them by choice. Do you really think we'd do that without a better plan? Lu Xian faltered but blustered, We'll see, before storming off. I can't believe she actually signed with them, Yanagi Anna said. They're in for a rough time. Wife, why don't we mess with her one more time? She looked intrigued. Tell me, have someone buy that land from her at a low price. She'll probably want to recoup some of her loss. Then I have a way to make her even angrier. She immediately made the call. What is the secret to that land? She asked curiously after hanging up. He smiled. You'll see soon. Just then, Old Wang called. He was ecstatic. The sample worked perfectly. 1 perfume, 1,000 cents. She was blown away and told him to start production immediately. Hubby, you're incredible. This perfume will make Shuangmu Group a legend. She pulled him toward the car. Let's go home. I have a reward for you. What reward? I bought a few uniforms online, she whispered. He was suddenly in a great hurry. By the time they got home, it had started to rain. She went to change. Outside, the rain lashed down. The path ahead was blocked by darkness and slippery ground, but the struggle lasted for hours. The next morning, a phone call woke him. It was his friend Ku Zhong, screaming with excitement. Do you know? The wheat futures you bought hit the daily limit. Your 50 million is now 108 million. How did you know? You're a legend. He calmed down slightly. Why aren't you excited? Maki Kanata paused. I'm not interested in money. It's just a number to me. I'd rather just be an ordinary person. After a long silence, Ku Zhong spoke with awe. You're amazing. Can I post a screenshot of your profits in the class group? I've been dying to shut those idiots up. Maki Kanata was confused. What's wrong? Don't you know? People are talking trash about you in the group. He hadn't checked the class group since graduation. It's a mess. Go see for yourself. Those jerks are saying some nasty stuff. He opened the chat. Everyone was talking about their new jobs, and the group had become a place for people to show off. A guy named Fang Ziwen, who was close to Liu Kailei in college, asked, Does anyone know what Maki Kanata is doing? Before anyone could answer, he continued, I think I saw him handing out flyers on the street the other day. In that heat, I felt so bad for him as I drove past in my car. The group chat exploded. No way! Maki Kanata is handing out flyers? Most people didn't want to believe he had fallen that far, but Fang Ziwen was ready. He posted a photo, and sure enough, there was a clear shot of Maki Kanata handing out flyers under the blistering sun with concrete evidence provided. Everyone began to believe that Maki Kanata had truly fallen to such a low point. Some felt pity, while others gloated, and a few even kicked him while he was down. Gosh, it really is Maki Kanata. He's reduced to handing out flyers? How embarrassing. It turns out he wasn't talking in the group because he couldn't find a job and had to resort to this. We graduated from a top-tier university. How did he end up like this? It's hilarious. The professors used to value him the most, yet look at him now. Maki Kanata watched the conversation in the group, feeling an indescribable bitterness. Fortunately, a few classmates with whom he had good relationships spoke up for him, leading to a heated argument between the two factions. Just then, new messages appeared in the class group. Ku Zhong posted several screenshots. One showed a 50 million RMB transfer from Maki Kanata, another captured their discussion about futures, and the last displayed the massive profit following a surge in the market. Ku Zhong specifically tagged the sarcastic individuals. Everyone, come take a look. Yesterday, Maki Kanata dropped 50 million on futures, and now it's grown to over 100 million. The screenshots are right here, they can't be faked. To those who were mocking him, do your total savings even amount to the pocket change in Maki Kanata's account? Ku Zhong was fully prepared this time, determined to slap their faces with the truth. Upon seeing the screenshots, those people didn't dare respond. No matter how many times Ku Zhong tagged them, they pretended to be offline. The classmates who had supported Maki Kanata became active. Holy crap, over 100 million! Maki Kanata, you're incredible! You were hiding your strength too well. Dropping 50 million in one go and doubling it. Boss, please guide me. I've been losing so much lately I have nightmares. I'm so jealous you guys have the capital for futures. My salary is so low I can barely afford to eat. They also began to ruthlessly mock Fang Ziwen's group to vent their frustrations. Fang Ziwen, can your family earn 50 million by handing out flyers? Aren't you embarrassed? Don't go silent now. Stay out of the chat forever if you've suddenly gone blind. Your faces must be so swollen from the hit that it's affecting your optic nerves. I wonder what your monthly salary is. It would take you hundreds of years to make 100 million, right? Under the concentrated fire from the roommates, Feng Ziwen finally couldn't hold back. Hilarious! I just finished working. Do you think I'll believe it just because of some screenshots? The future's profit might be real, but does the money belong to Maki Kanata? Not necessarily. There are plenty of ways to fake who is operating the account. His logic seemed sound to some, and others began to chime in. Maki Kanata supporters couldn't help but argue back, and another fierce quarrel erupted in the class group. Maki Kanata couldn't stand it anymore, and tagged Feng Ziwen directly. Feng Ziwen, you mentioned earlier that you work at a financial subsidiary under the Hongyan Group, right? Seeing Maki Kanata finally appear in person, Feng Ziwen replied immediately. Everyone knows that. After all, among our classmates, my job is the best one found after graduation. I'm just a small manager at a financial firm under the famous Hongyan Group, making about 30,000 a month, maybe 50 or 60,000 when performance is good. Honestly, I wanted to start my own business, but my dad is a shareholder in Hongyan Finance and insisted I join. I figured it's not bad. I'll eventually take over his shares and enjoy annual dividends of 10 or 20 million. As soon as these words were posted, the tide in the group shifted again. Feng Ziwen read the flattering comments one by one, soaking in the praise. Then, he saw Maki Kanata's next message. Your father won't be a shareholder of Hongyan Finance for much longer, and you are about to be unemployed. Feng Ziwen burst out laughing at the message. Maki Kanata, are you joking? Now you've started talking nonsense. Watching these clowns on his phone, Maki Kanata smiled slightly and immediately uploaded the Hongyan Group shareholding agreement. Any objections? The group chat exploded instantly. Holy SH*T! 70% of Hongyan Group's shares? I'm floored. This is real. Our company's legal counsel is right next to me. I showed it to him, and he confirmed it's not a forgery. This is absolutely insane. Just how rich is Maki Kanata to buy 70% of Hongyan Group? And that's not something you can do with just money alone. Being top graduates, some classmates immediately grasped the gravity of the situation. Hongyan Group was a listed conglomerate with a market value of hundreds of billions, covering finance, real estate, technology, and pharmaceuticals. Everyone was speechless with shock. Brother, from now on you are my Mujay. No one else matters. What do you mean, Mujay? We should call him Mujay? We should call him Mu God. Father Mu, I'm sorry. I misunderstood you earlier. It wasn't intentional. Your son is willing to accept punishment. Feng Ziwen is finished. If Maki Kanata kicks them out of Hongyan Group, the goose that lays the golden eggs is gone. Who told Feng Ziwen to keep slandering his own ultimate boss? Who could tolerate that? Feng, what do you think? Say something. At this point, Feng Ziwen was completely stunned. I don't believe it. These acquisition agreements could be fake. There is no way Maki Kanata is the major shareholder of Hongyan Group. Though his mouth denied it, his body acted honestly as he ran to his father's office. Who is the major shareholder of our parent company, Hongyan Group? Feng Wei, sensing something was wrong with his son's behavior, replied with a heavy expression, "It's Maki Kanata." Feng Ziwen was so terrified he stumbled back and collapsed onto the floor. What happened? Feng Wei stood up abruptly, his face darkening. Feng Ziwen stammered, too afraid to speak the truth. Feng Wei grabbed him by the collar and roared, "Did you offend someone? If you don't speak up, don't blame me for getting violent." He raised his hand, ready to slap his son. Feng Ziwen quickly raised his hands to block him. I'll talk. He then began to recount everything that had happened in the class group. Give me the phone. Feng Wei snatched it and found the shareholding agreement images. Seeing the two words, Maki Kanata, written in a bold, flowing script, he felt a wave of dizziness. His own son had been attacking the major shareholder of the entire Hongyan Group online. Although he was a shareholder in a subsidiary with an annual income of 20 million, he knew he was nothing compared to the major shareholder. The difference was like heaven and earth. He wasn't even qualified to meet the major shareholder in person. The more Feng Wei thought about it, the more terrified and enraged he became, especially regarding the line, "Your father won't be a shareholder for long." Consumed by fury, Feng Wei began kicking and punching Feng Ziwen. You ungrateful son! I wish I could stuff you back where you came from. You've ruined me. The foundation I worked so hard to build is going to vanish before it even reaches the second generation. After beating his son, Fang Guowei hurriedly took the phone and sent a voice message to the group. "Hello, Chairman Mu, I am Fang Ziwen's father, Fang Guowei. It is my fault for not raising my son properly. I have just given him a severe beating for what he did. I hope Chairman Mu can give us a chance to apologize in person. I will bring him to you to apologize face to face. He will accept any punishment without resistance, just to let you vent your anger." After the voice message played, everyone in the group was stunned. A moment later, another photo was posted. Fang Ziwen was lying on the ground, his black suit covered in footprints, his hair like a bird's nest, his face bruised and swollen, and blood trickling from his nose. This visual gave the members of the group a massive psychological shock. Maki Kanata didn't bother looking at the flattering comments or the insults directed at Fang Ziwen. He closed the chat window. As for Fang Ziwen's father's plea to apologize in person, Maki Kanata didn't bother responding. Perhaps Fang Ziwen would get another beating because of his silence. Next, Maki Kanata noticed his message list was flooded with new chats and friend requests from former university classmates. He casually opened a few messages from female classmates. "Maki Kanata, you were so cool today. You really surprised me. It's been a long time. Are you free to grab a drink tonight? Brother Maki Kanata, the weather has been so hot lately. I just bought some new pajamas. Could you help me pick which one looks best?" There were many such messages. After reviewing all the photos with a, quote, critical eye, he deleted all those female classmates. He was heartless, enjoying the free photos and then vanishing. After clearing the messages, he turned his attention back to the system. The daily asset growth reward had arrived. Just by waking up, over 60 million RMB from the system had been deposited. His soft rice assets had surpassed 300 million. With a 20% increase, he received over 60 million every day upon waking. He had little left in his bank account after giving Kojong the money for wheat futures, but now it had surged back to over 66 million. He didn't plan on leaving the money in the bank. Since wheat futures were guaranteed to rise, he decided to reinvest. He messaged Kojong, "I'm transferring another 60 million into the futures account. Keep buying wheat futures for me." He then added, "I think wheat will continue to rise for a while. You can bring the others in to make a profit too." He was referring to his close roommates. Kojong replied, "Man, I regret not buying yesterday. I'm definitely following you today. Thanks for taking us with you, Boss Mu. Leave it to me." Maki Kanata smiled, chatted with Kojong for a bit, and prepared to put his phone away. Just before closing it, he noticed the date was September 10th. Tomorrow was the Mid-Autumn Festival. He remembered that Yanagi Ruin usually went home for the holiday. The thought made him panic. He and Yanagi Ruine were exes, yet now he was with her mother and had essentially become her stepfather. He could imagine her mind exploding when she returned. He felt a strong urge to slip away and hide. At that moment, Yanagi Anna woke up beside him and immediately hugged him. "Hubby," she murmured, acting as lazy and cute as a cat. He couldn't help but pinch her cheek. "Awake? Are you hungry?" Instead of answering, she buried her head in his chest and took a deep breath. "I'm full now." He patted her head and laughed. "Full already? What are you inhaling?" "My essence. You little temptress. Hubby's body smells so good, I love it." To prove her point, she clung to him and took several more deep breaths, looking completely infatuated. Yanagi Enna pulled his hand, signaling for him to lie back down. He helplessly returned to the covers, and they snuggled closely together. After an unknown amount of time, a system notification rang in his head. "Congratulations to the host for obtaining the Yalongbei plot through, eating soft rice. Asset value, 20 million RMB. Congratulations. The host has leveled up to LV3. Daily growth increased to 30%. Rewards, God-level hacking skills, and a top-tier bodyguard team." Instantly, a massive amount of hacking knowledge flooded his mind. This was followed by information and contact details for the bodyguard team. As his net worth increased, he was bound to make enemies, and he didn't know when danger might strike. He immediately used his phone to make contact. According to the system, the people Yanagi Enna sent had successfully bought the Yalongbei land from Liu Xiyun for a low price. It only cost 20 million. Liu Xiyun had taken a 19 million RMB loss on the flip. More importantly, an even bigger disaster was waiting for her. As he was thinking, Yanagi Enna happened to mention Liu Xiyun. This is too much. She was scrolling through Weibo and saw that Xiyun Group had announced a partnership with the Low Group and was launching new products. Furthermore, Xi'an Group was making snide remarks about Shuangmu Group in the comments, implying their upcoming downfall. She's courting death. Maki Kanata stroked Yanagi-ena's hair. Don't worry, just watch the show. Xi'an Group will be heavily crippled, if not destroyed, and Shuangmu Group will definitely take a step forward. Yanagi-ena nodded. I'll listen to my husband. Suddenly, Yanagi-ena's phone rang. A look of joy appeared on her face. I have to tell you, my people successfully bought that Yalongbei land from Liu Xiyun for only 20 million. Although he already knew, seeing her so happy made him genuinely glad. Let's get out of bed. No, I don't want to get up. It's time to reveal the secret. Don't you want to know? Yanagi-ena's eyes lit up and she bounced out of bed. I do, hubby, tell me quickly, he said mysteriously. You'll know once you come with me. Hurry up and get ready. An hour later, when they arrived at Yalongbei, an excavation team was already waiting. Yanagi-ena held his arm, looking at the desolate surroundings with excitement. What are we doing here? Are we looking for buried treasure? Maki Kanata nodded excitedly. Exactly. We are here for treasure. It's time to witness a miracle. They moved through Yalongbei, searching for the Dream Star Sea Stone. It should be here, he thought. After wandering for a while, he confirmed the location of the stone. He then signaled the engineering team behind him. The target ground was slowly torn open. An hour and a half passed, and the marked spot had turned into a deep pit. Suddenly, a loud clang rang out. The excavator seemed to have hit something hard. The crew checked it out and shouted, Boss, it looks like we hit a mineral vein. Maki Kanata quickly confirmed that the ore was indeed the Dreamstar Sea Stone. He hadn't searched in vain. He thought it would take more effort, but they found it quickly. He ordered the team to start digging it out. Yanagi-ena stared at the rock. Hubby, is this gray, dusty thing the treasure you mentioned? He held up a piece of the stone. Yes, this unremarkable-looking thing. But its inner core is mesmerizing, especially to women. Many go crazy for it. It's called Dreamstar Sea Stone. Currently, only one other source has been found in the world. This is the second. The name sounded familiar to her, as if she had heard it somewhere before, but she couldn't quite place it. He continued explaining, Scientists found it doesn't have much industrial value, but because it's rarer than diamonds and hides a stunning interior beneath its plain exterior, it has become a material for top-tier luxury jewelry. Its price has skyrocketed. Hearing this, Yanagi-ena finally remembered. She had seen a bag encrusted with Dreamstar Sea Stone fragments at an auction that sold for over 10 million. The bag itself was worth maybe a few $100,000, but the stones increased its value tenfold. After explaining, Maki Kanata rubbed the stone against the ground. The dark exterior faded away, revealing its true essence. Hubby, it's so beautiful! Yanagi-ena looked at the shimmering stone with obsession. Seeing this, Maki Kanata made a plan. Once the entire stone was excavated, he would have the world's most luxurious jewelry set made for her. After a while, a large portion of the stone was exposed in the pit. Looking at the revealed part, Yanagi-ena was shocked. How big is this stone? It must be worth a fortune, he smiled. At current market prices, a stone this size should be worth over 4 billion, maybe more. Yanagi-ena froze at the estimate. 4 billion or more? A plot of land she bought for 20 million yielded a 4 billion RMB treasure. That was a return of over 200 times. Making money was too easy for him. She couldn't help but compare it to her own company. As the owner of a listed corporation, her 10,000 employees worked tirelessly, and it would take them months to earn 4 billion. Yet Maki Kanata had found it just by hiring a crew for 20 million. At that moment, her gaze toward him was full of pure worship. As time passed, the sun began to set, but the progress was slower than hoped. To protect the integrity of the stone, the crew stopped using machines and switched to careful manual labor. After several hours, they had only uncovered a fraction. It was clear they wouldn't finish today. Maki Kanata called for a halt. Before everyone left, he notified the Xuanwu bodyguard team to send people to guard the site. A 4 billion RMB object couldn't be left unattended. On the way home, Yanagi-ena couldn't stop smiling. So are you happy today? Very happy. If Liu Xiyun knew the land she sold for 20 million held a 4 billion treasure, she'd probably faint. At that thought, she happily kissed him. Hubby, you're the best! Blushing, she added, I'll give you a good reward when we get home. His eyes lit up. Really? Anything? Yanagi-ena nodded slightly. Then I want my wife to keep feeding me. Yanagi was stunned and then annoyed. "I made it so obvious, and the reward you want is that?" she said irritably. "Don't you want what we did last night?" Remembering the previous night, Maki Kanata felt a surge of excitement, but he still said, "Of course I want that, but I still choose the feeding." Earning system rewards is addictive. Hearing those, soft rice, gains, and getting god-level skills feels too good. Yanagi-Ena's chest heaved with frustration. She wondered if her performance last night hadn't been good enough. That shouldn't be. He clearly enjoyed it. Maybe I should bring out those Balenciagas tonight. Once they returned home, Yanagi-Ena quickly fed him and then went to the bedroom to retrieve her secret weapon, a pair of Balenciaga black stockings. As soon as Maki Kanata came out of the shower, he was pushed onto the bed by her. Gritting her teeth, she said, "You're full, right? Now it's time to work." And so, they spent a very productive day together. The next morning, Maki Kanata woke up early. His physical condition was improving, likely due to fully absorbing the gene serum. He felt several times stronger and more enduring, feeling refreshed even after waking up. His phone rang. It was Ko Jong. "Manager Moo! God Moo, you are incredible. Wheat futures hit the daily limit up yesterday. Do you know how much you made?" Ko Jong shouted excitedly. 480 million! Your account balance is nearly 600 million. Maki Kanata was stunned by the figure. He thought making 200 or 300 million would be good enough, but the market was better than expected. "By the way, how are you guys doing? You made some money too, right?" He remembered telling Ko Jong to bring the roommates along. Ko Jong laughed loudly. "Of course I followed you. I maxed out my credit cards and borrowed from relatives. I put everything in. I made over 500,000 following you this time. Old Chi and Fatty made a few tens of thousands each. They are thrilled." Ko Jong couldn't help but ask, "Do you think wheat will keep rising today?" Maki Kanata said decisively, "I'll transfer another 100 million in. Keep buying wheat, but you must sell as soon as it hits 885 RMB per ton." "You're the man, Boss Moo," Maki Kanata replied jokingly. "Stop flattering me. I'll transfer the money now, move fast. I can still borrow more. I'm mortgaging the house. I've got to go big." Ko Jong hung up impatiently. After the call, Maki Kanata saw a news report about Shiyun Group. Their new product with Low Group had launched, selling over 1 million units in one day. It was very popular, and their stock price was rising. She truly was a woman who could rival Yanagi-Ena for years. For a moment, the internet was full of praise for Shiyun Group, but Maki Kanata knew this was their final peak. The higher the sales, the bigger the crisis they would face. While he was pondering their tragic end, Yanagi-Ena's phone rang. She opened her eyes groggily and answered, "Mom, I'm back! I'm almost at the station. Are you free to pick me up?" A familiar female voice came through. Maki Kanata froze, realizing it was Yanagi Ruin. She had launched a surprise attack and returned early. Yanagi-Ena was startled awake. "Yin, why are you so early?" she asked with surprise. "I wanted to see if this, new dad, is as good as you say. I took the earliest train today." "Mom, I'm almost there. Can you come?" Yanagi-Ena agreed and hung up with a smile. Then she saw Maki Kanata's frustrated face. "What's wrong, hubby? Are you unhappy?" he said honestly. "Because your daughter is back." Yanagi-Ena was puzzled. "Why aren't you happy she's back? This is a good thing. You'll meet soon. After that, we can have our wedding." Her eyes sparkled at the mention of the wedding. She had been looking forward to it. He understood her excitement, but the issue was whether Yanagi Rune would accept him. "Yanran, have you considered that? What if she doesn't accept me?" Yanagi-Ena smiled and leaned her forehead against his. "My little husband, why are you so insecure? Look at your face, your body, your stamina. Any woman would drool over you. You're gentle, considerate, and steady. Any one of those traits would be enough. There's no reason for her not to accept you." In her eyes, Maki Kanata was perfect. She saw all his virtues and no flaws, assuming Ruyin would feel the same. He was pleased by the praise. "But you might be forgetting one thing," he worried. "I'm barely older than her. We're basically the same age. Can she accept calling a peer dad? If you were in her shoes, wouldn't it be hard?" Yanagi-Ena went silent. She had indeed forgotten that. Her time with him had been so happy she forgot about age, work, and even her daughter. She was completely devoted to him. Now, putting herself in her daughter's shoes, she realized it was indeed a difficult request. As she was dazed, he spoke up again. "And there's more. I want to explain something. You know, we go to the same school. Actually, I knew her before. We were quite close. My mother forced me to go on a blind date. I didn't expect the person to be a young woman. She even said she had a daughter 5 years younger than me and asked if I minded. Looking at the photo of my campus belle ex-girlfriend, I quickly said age wasn't a problem. But then she said, if you don't mind, let's go get the marriage license. My brain stalled as I realized she was my blind date. As Yanagi Enna was dazed, I spoke up again. And there's more. I want to explain something. You know, we go to the same school. Actually, I knew her before. We were quite close. I decided to confess everything to her. Everyone knows we go to the same school, but you didn't know we used to be good friends. Her mouth dropped open in surprise. I continued. Later, because of some unpleasantness, we lost contact. Her expression was complex. After a moment, she asked, "So what do we do now?" I lowered my voice. "We contest the waters. If her attitude toward me is okay, we tell her directly. If she's very repulsed, we'll find another way." Her eyes brightened. "That's a great idea. I'll go pick her up myself and see her reaction. She should be arriving soon." Yanagi Enna nodded and smiled. "Go ahead, hubby." The station was crowded. Yanagi Ruin pulled a silver suitcase and looked around. A man in a suit approached her. "Can we get to know each other?" She refused coldly. "No." She stepped back, exuding an icy aura. The man didn't give up. "I just want to be friends and give you a ride." Impatiently, she replied. "My boyfriend is picking me up." He persisted. "He's not here yet, right? Let me take you." Suddenly, she saw a familiar figure and shouted in surprise, "Maki Kanata!" Standing by a Bugatti Veyron, I waved to her. She walked toward me as if I were a lifesaver. The suit man followed. "It's hard to get a taxi right now." But before he could finish, she reached me, opened the door, and got in. He stopped in his tracks, hand frozen in the air, looking stunned. I understood the situation immediately. She was often harassed by guys like this. I smiled at him. "This car only has 2 seats. Find your own way." With that, the car sped off, leaving the man in a cloud of dust. In the car, I joked, "Getting hit on again?" She sighed. "Yeah, he was so persistent and thick-skinned. I'm glad you showed up." Suddenly, she turned to me. "Why are you here? Are you picking someone up? Is it okay to take me first?" "I was actually here specifically for you." She looked shocked. "Specifically for me? Are you?" I was prepared for her to figure it out. She clapped her hands as if realizing something. "Are you the driver my mom sent to pick me up?" I almost choked on my own blood. I had been nervous for so long, thinking she'd recognize me as her dad, and she thinks I'm the driver. Does any part of me look like a driver? Who has a driver this handsome in a $10 million supercar? I was screaming internally. But then I realized this was okay. If I revealed it now, things might collapse. Better to stay like this for a bit. Seeing me silent, she thought I was embarrassed. "Maki Kanata, every job has dignity. Being a driver isn't bad. The pay is surely high. Since you're my mom's driver, you're basically her assistant. Learn from her at Shuangmu Group. Maybe you can join the company later. I believe in you." She was sincere and even tried to plan my career. I just smiled. This daughter seemed cold but was actually quite kind. I hoped she'd stay this way after finding out the truth. I tried to clear up the old misunderstanding. "I want to explain something about school," she interrupted. "I know what you want to say. I found out the truth later. It was my fault. I misunderstood you. I should apologize. It was my bad for saying those harsh things. I hope you don't mind." I stopped minding long ago. I was at fault first. It was natural for you to be upset. I should have explained it better. We both laughed at our mutual apologies. When our eyes met, her smile was dazzling. Any man would be captivated. Fortunately, I had Yanagi Enna to keep my heart in check. "Okay, we're still good friends then." She seemed happy. "Maki Kanata, take me to Excellence Plaza first. I want to buy some things." I nodded and drove there. Once at the mall, I realized she was buying gifts for her mother. I followed behind, acting as the bag carrier. My hands were soon full of shopping bags. I comforted myself. These are for my wife, and it's my duty to shop with my daughter. Passing a suit shop, she suddenly pulled me in. "What for?" I asked. "Buying you a suit as an apology. I don't like suits. They feel restrictive. And I have plenty at home. Just pick one. If you don't, it means you haven't forgiven me." She hit my weak spot. I helplessly picked one out. When I stepped out after changing, both she and the clerk were stunned. In the suit, I looked dignified and even more handsome. Does it look good? I didn't feel much about my own appearance. "Very handsome." She was about to pay when the cashier said, That will be 1.26 million RMB. She froze with her wallet out. I advised, it's just average. Let me pick another. She swiped her card anyway. 1.26 million is a bit expensive, but it's worth it if you look this good. I was just shocked because I've never seen a suit that expensive before. I looked at the suit and sighed. Such expensive clothes. I probably won't wear it more than a few times. What a waste. The system's voice suddenly rang out in my mind. Host has obtained one suit by eating soft rice. Soft rice assets increased by 126,000 RMB. So Yanagi Ruin buying me clothes also counted as soft rice assets. After the system upgrade, I could obtain soft rice assets from any woman. Hearing this explanation, I couldn't help but feel a bit excited. The system actually encouraged eating more soft rice. It even rewarded me with god-level calligraphy. After buying the suit, we planned to go home. Just as we were about to leave Excellence Plaza, we suddenly saw a familiar figure. Yanagi Rune and I called out at the same time. The middle-aged man turned around and smiled upon seeing us. Mr. Mu! Yin Yin! This person was none other than Old Wang, a high-level executive at Shuangmu Group. Hearing Old Wang address me as Mr. Mu, Yanagi Ruin couldn't help but ask curiously, Uncle Wang, do you and Maki Kanata know each other? Old Wang nodded. Of course I know him. Mr. Mu, isn't he? Seeing that Old Wang was about to let the cat out of the bag, I quickly changed the subject. Old Wang, what stage has the perfume project reached? Mentioning this, Old Wang said excitedly, all the process approvals have come through. We are now in full production and it will be launched for sale very soon. Beside us, Yanagi Ruene asked in surprise, perfume? Is the company producing perfume? Is it a new development? Both Old Wang and Yanagi Ruin cared deeply about company affairs, so by shifting the topic, they temporarily forgot about the previous matter. This allowed me to breathe a long sigh of relief. Old Wang had almost exposed my identity. Luckily, I diverted the conversation in time. Yanagi Ruin asked me curiously, Maki Kanata, where did you get a perfume formula from? I waved my hand dismissively. I saw it in a dream. She shot me a glare. At least make up a decent lie. I didn't bother explaining further. At this point, Old Wang chimed in, none of that matters. As long as the perfume formula belongs to Mr. Mu himself, we will soon see Shuangmu Group's perfume dominating the market. Yanagi Ruin nodded in agreement and didn't press further about the source of the formula. However, she stole a glance at me, seemingly discovering that I was more mysterious than she had imagined. After chatting for a while, Old Wang left for other business. Yanagi Ruin and I also prepared to go home. Back in the car, I had just started the engine. Yanagi Ruin suddenly asked, why does Uncle Wang keep calling you Mr. Mu? She was clearly suspicious of my identity because Old Wang was a top executive, while I was supposedly just an assistant. The status didn't quite match. I hadn't thought of how to explain it yet. Yanagi Ruin then made her own guess. The perfume formula you provided helped the company so much. With Uncle Wang's personality, he naturally wouldn't treat you like an ordinary assistant. I didn't reply. By the way, Maki Kanata, how long have you been driving for my mom? Her constant questioning made me a bit nervous, so I sped up to get home. For a while now, I guess. Yanagi Ruine immediately turned her head and stared at me. Then you must have met that man, right? I was speechless. I obviously knew who she was referring to, but how could I put it? Yanagi Ruin urged me for an answer. I pretended to focus on driving and gave a non-committal but hearing a positive response, Yanagi Ruin got excited. I knew it! What's that guy's deal? I thought for a moment. He's pretty good. Be more specific. What does he look like? What's his personality? What are his capabilities? Tell me everything. I had to supplement. He's very handsome, about the same as me. His personality is quite good, I think. As for capability, he's naturally excellent. This was nonsense, of course. The man was me, so naturally, he'd be like me, and I wasn't going to speak ill of myself. Yanagi Ruin was clearly dissatisfied with my answer. That's basically saying nothing at all. Having muddled through, I breathed a sigh of relief and began to test her attitude. It's hard to explain in a few words. I feel he's quite good. Don't you support your mom in finding happiness? Yanagi Ruin shook her head. Of course I support her. My mom has been single for so many years. I hope she finds true love. But that man is too young. What does a little boy like that know about love? What if he's just after my family's wealth? Then my mom would be left both heartbroken and penniless. I came home specifically to test what kind of character this guy really has. Her words left me speechless. I could only drive in silence, wondering how to handle whatever was coming next. At this point, Yanagi-Ruin was gritting her teeth in hatred whenever she mentioned that pretty boy. I felt quite helpless. Seeing is believing. Everything you're saying is just speculation. The facts might not be like that. Your mom has dominated the business world for years. You know her judgment. Since she chose to be with that man, it means there's nothing wrong with him. I paused and added, I think that man is quite good, suitable to be your dad. Yanagi-Ruin was stunned. You really think so? I nodded. Yeah. Seeing this, she said no more. But she suddenly wanted to get home as quickly as possible to see the man. Before long, I drove into the Yunli old residence villa area. She asked strangely, where is this? Aren't we going home? I realized then that Yanagi-Ena hadn't told her she bought this place. This is your home. Your mom bought a new place. She got out of the car. Since it was her first time there, she didn't have the key or the code, so she prepared to ring the doorbell. However, the smart home system had already recognized me as the owner. The door opened automatically and announced, Master. At this point, Yanagi-Ruin would have to be an idiot not to understand. It's actually you! She shouted and lunged at me. I treated you as a friend. I didn't know what to say, so I could only pin her down on the sofa. Although she couldn't move, her mouth didn't stop. You bastard, let me go! You dog seducing my mom to steal my house, deceiving my feelings and my money? She cursed while crying. Yanagi-Ena heard the commotion downstairs and rushed down. Seeing the scene, she felt quite helpless. Now you know the truth. If you have any objections, you can speak up. Yanagi-Ruin blurted out. Leave my mother. Your mom and I are truly in love. She jumped up. You're a top-tier graduate, yet instead of working hard, you're just thinking about being a kept man. How could I have a friend like you? Yanagi-Ena chimed in at this point. Actually, I was the one who pursued Maki Kanata. I arranged the blind date myself. Maki Kanata didn't want to be with me at first, so I literally dragged him to the Civil Affairs Bureau to get married. Yanagi-Ruin was completely dumbfounded. Was this her mother, the legendary Ice Mountain, who stayed away from men? Maki Kanata is just a fresh graduate. He's barely older than your daughter. How could you bring yourself to do this? Thinking about it, it seemed Maki Kanata was the one getting the short end of the stick. This thought popped into Yanagi-Ruin's head, but she quickly pushed it away. No, I can't let Maki Kanata be my dad. Thinking of this, she still firmly opposed. What do you even see in this guy? Aside from being handsome, he has no virtues. And as far as I know, he's never had a girlfriend. He might even be gay. Yanagi-Ena immediately refuted, No, Yin-Yin. My Maki Kanata has many virtues besides being handsome, like being attentive, gentle, and steady. And just because he hasn't had a girlfriend doesn't mean he's that. I'm his wife. How could I not know? Failing one tactic, Yanagi-Ruin tried another. Even so, the fact remains he's a soft rice eater. A top graduate from Shanghai University doesn't look for a job and relies on you to support him? Is that even a man? How could that be? It's just that you don't understand him. He bought a plot of land worth 4.6 billion for only 20 million. That's a huge profit. Plus, he provided a top-tier perfume formula that solved a problem the company struggled with for years, especially now when the company was in a difficult position. Fine. Even if that's true, he's a calculating guy. He guessed I would disagree, so he tried everything to pick me up at the station, lied about being your driver, and acted out a reconciliation scene to trick my feelings. And he even spent over $1 million of my money. I couldn't sit still hearing this. It was your mom who asked me to pick you up. As your father, there's nothing wrong with that, right? And I never said I was her driver. You kept saying it yourself, and I never confirmed it. As for the $1 million clothes, I refused, but you insisted on giving them. You got angry when I didn't want them, so what choice did I have? As I said this, Yanagi-Ruin thought back and was stunned. The facts were exactly as I described. This guy had been calling himself dad and her daughter the whole time, taking advantage of her. Then in the car, you shamelessly kept praising yourself and saying how good you are. Was I wrong? Did I tell a single lie? Am I not handsome? Am I not excellent? I just honestly listed my virtues. How is that shameless? Where else would you find such a handsome and excellent young man? For a moment, Yanagi-Ruin was left speechless. I don't care. Get out of my house immediately, I said impatiently. This is the home of Yanran and me. If anyone is leaving, It's you. This is the home of me and my mom. Seeing Yanagi Ruin looking like she was about to cry from anger, I sighed. How about this? In the future, we each call each other what we want. You call me Dad, and I'll call you Little Sister. Hearing this, Yanagi Ruin exploded. She lunged forward, wanting to have a life and death duel with me. But Yanagi Enna was one step ahead and grabbed her hand. She was angry too. Don't you dare lay a hand on your father! The words your father were like a bomb exploding in her mind. Yanagi Ruine sat back on the sofa, looking completely soulless. Since things had come to this, Yanran and I were helpless. Let's go back to the room and let her think it over. After a long time, Yanagi Ruin still felt this was too absurd. Then she seemed to remember something and hurriedly pulled out her phone to start a video call. A cute girl appeared on the screen. Yin Yin, baby, why are you crying? Who bullied you? Hearing the words of strawberry-flavored little fairy, Yanagi Ruin almost cried again. So she told her the whole story. When strawberry-flavored little fairy finished listening, she immediately formed a united front. She began condemning me. This Maki Kanata guy is so shameless. Not only is he a soft rice eater, but he even bullied my wife until she cried. Her words hit the nail on the head for Yanagi Ruine, who nodded frantically in agreement. I feel so miserable. Venting her feelings, Yanagi Ruin couldn't help crying again. Wife, I don't want a dad like this, but I have no choice. Wife, don't cry. We'll think of something together. There must be a way to kick that Maki Kanata guy out. But my mom is like, she's been hexed. She's completely devoted to him. And Maki Kanata definitely won't let go of her. I really can't think of any way. Strawberry-flavored little fairy frowned, her eyes darting around. To get your mom to break up with him? Are you willing to pay a little price? Yanagi Ruin was confused but nodded immediately. As long as it separates them, I'll pay any price. Strawberry-flavored little fairy said mysteriously, It's not safe to talk via video there. Let's switch to typing. Yanagi Ruine nodded and hung up the call. Yin Yin, baby, I remember back at school, you and this Maki Kanata were quite close, weren't you? He seemed to be the male you were closest to. For some reason, her words carried a hint of jealousy, but Yanagi Ruin didn't notice. Yeah, he was my closest male friend, but we fell out over some things later. What does that have to do with your plan? Back in school, he might have liked you. Otherwise, why would he have gone to such lengths to get close to you? Other guys couldn't pull that off. Strawberry-flavored little fairy's words carried the hostility of a love rival. As long as you tell your mom about this, she will definitely break up with him. Yanagi Ruin suddenly saw the light. Her swollen eyes began to brighten. But then she thought of a problem. It sounds good, but there's a key issue. I don't know for sure if he liked me back then. I have no proof. My mom might not believe me. That's why I asked if you were willing to pay a price. Yanagi Ruine asked in surprise, what price? Strawberry-flavored little fairy gave an evil chuckle. Words are no proof, but what if she sees it with her own eyes? You just need her to witness something inappropriate. Then she'll know Maki Kanata has ulterior motives toward you. At this, Yanagi Ruin understood what paying a price meant. She grit her teeth and made a decision. Then what should I do to make her see him harassing me? First, you must create the right environment. They probably live together, so you have to separate them first to get him alone. Once they are in separate rooms, you find the right moment to sneak into his room. Yanagi Ruin continued. Once I'm in his room, I'll create the illusion that he's trying to do something to me and lure my mom over. She'll be furious, and their relationship will shatter. She typed excitedly, as if the plan had already succeeded. That's the plan, but, wife, you must be careful. Don't actually let him take advantage of you. Just act. We can't lose too much, or I'll be heartbroken. Yanagi Ruin quickly comforted her. Don't worry, wife, I'll control the boundaries. I only love you forever. Having set the plan, Yanagi Ruin put away her phone and headed toward the second floor to the room belonging to Yanran and me. Watch me kick you out of this room first. Suddenly, she felt herself bump into something. She looked up to see me. Startled, she stepped back and asked warily, What are you doing? You bumped into me and you're asking what I'm doing? Move aside, I'm going down to cook. Yanagi Ruine was speechless but muttered defiantly, Bad Maki Kanata, smelly Maki Kanata. Then she turned around and followed me into the kitchen anyway. She sat on a chair nearby, her eyes fixed on me. What's so interesting about me cooking? Why are you staring? Afraid I'll poison it? She said stubbornly. It's a possibility. I shook my head helplessly and continued cooking. In her mind, even if I knew how to cook, it was probably just basic amateur stuff. But as she watched me prepare ingredients with skilled knife work, she began to feel surprised. My cooking style shocked her even more. At this moment, it was as if the god of cooking had possessed me. Yanagi Ruin was completely stunned. She had never seen cooking look so elegant and beautiful. Just the scent alone made her incredibly hungry. Before long, 4 dishes and a soup were served steaming hot. "Go call your mom down for dinner." Yanagi Ruin snapped out of it and gave a few quick nods. The 2 of them came down to the table. I had already set the food. "It smells so good, hubby!" Yanagi-Enna looked blissful. "Then eat more." I dotingly placed a piece of meat in her bowl. Yanran didn't hesitate to enjoy the feast, her face full of smiles. Meanwhile, Yanagi Ruin looked at the food, her mind still stuck on the image of me cooking, and she didn't pick up her chopsticks for a long time. "Yin, hurry and try the dishes your dad made. His cooking is delicious," Yanran urged. "Oh, okay," she replied dizzily. She picked up a piece of beef. Her eyes instantly lit up. It was too delicious. The more she ate, the more shocked she became, and her movements grew faster. Seeing this, Yanran said proudly, "My husband's cooking is amazing, way better than anything outside." Yanagi Ruin suddenly snapped back to reality and forced herself to put down the chopsticks. "It's not as good as you say, Mom. Anyway, I have no appetite. You guys eat." Dropping those words, she turned and went back to the living room sofa. Yanran chuckled and whispered in my ear, "That girl is just being stubborn. She's probably regretting it already." As her mother, she naturally knew her best. Sure enough, as she sat on the sofa listening to us eating happily, she regretted her decision. The food was so fragrant, but for the sake of her dignity, she had to endure her growling stomach. Seeing our intimacy made her regret leaving the table even more. However, she decided to execute the plan, make her mom and me sleep in separate rooms. After we cleared the table, we walked over. Yanagi Ruin was about to speak when Yanran beat her to it. "Yin, we have to go out for a bit. Wait for us at home, okay?" Hearing this, she had to pause her plan. "What were you going to say?" She shook her head. "Nothing, go ahead." As we headed for the door, she suddenly called out, "Wait, I want to go too." We turned around in surprise. "You want to go too? Yeah, is that a problem? What are you going out for anyway?" I gave her a look. "To take care of business. If it's business, I should be able to follow along, right?" Seeing her persistence, Yanran explained, "We're going to the company. It's official business." But she wouldn't give up. "Since you're going to the company, I have even more reason to go." Yanran and I shared a look and helplessly agreed. "Fine, if you want to follow, then follow." We drove toward Shuangmu Group. Looking at the familiar streets, she couldn't help asking, "Mom, what are you doing at the company?" She thought we were tricking her because it was the Mid-Autumn Festival, and the company should be closed. Yanran explained patiently. "The company's new perfume is about to hit the market, so we have to have a meeting. Maki Kanata provided the formula, so he has to be there too." Yanagi Ruin was confused. "But isn't it the holiday? Aren't launch and sales usually handled by the marketing and sales departments?" "This time is different," Yanran said. "This perfume is vital to the future of Shuangmu Group. Everyone in the company is anticipating it. So even on a holiday, we're working for it. All top executives will be at the meeting to finalize a perfect plan." Hearing this, she looked at me driving and felt I was truly mysterious. My cooking had mesmerized her, and now I had provided a critical perfume formula. Her perception of me was changing rapidly. Soon, we arrived at the company where all executives had gathered. Once the meeting started, Yanran discussed every detail of the launch with the executives. They brainstormed intensely. Bored, Yanagi Ruin saw a small bottle of clear white liquid on the table. She tugged on Old Wang's sleeve and whispered, "Uncle Wang, what's this?" He whispered back, "This is a sample produced from the formula Mr. Mew provided. Do you want to smell it?" Her eyes lit up and she leaned in. A unique fragrance hit her nose, making her feel incredibly comfortable, as if the scent were penetrating her body and soul. "What a comfortable scent!" she exclaimed. Old Wang laughed. "Tell me about it. Mr. Mu said this perfume has a magical effect. Everyone who smells it will smell their own favorite scent. We didn't believe him when he said it would dominate the market, but the moment the sample came out, we were proven wrong. But this is a good kind of slap in the face." He was beaming. Yanagi Ruin was shocked. She could already imagine Shuangmu Group becoming the leader of the beauty industry because of this perfume. Time passed, and night fell outside. The meeting finally ended. Everyone cheered. "This is invincible. This is the most perfect plan I've ever seen. Shuangmu Group is going to rise." "Yeah, I can't wait to see the ugly look on the faces of people at Luowei Group once our product explodes." That guy, surnamed Lo. Just thinking about his attitude that day makes me furious. I want to slap his face with our success. Not just Luowei Group. The Xiun Group has been acting up lately too, mocking us constantly after partnering with Luowei. Let's show them this time. Ultimately, we really have to thank Mr. Maki Kanata for the formula. Following Old Wang, Yanagi Ruin asked, "Uncle, why is everyone cursing Luowei Group? They seem to hate them. Weren't they our long-term partners?" Old Wang realized she didn't know the backstory and explained the situation with Luo Group. She was stunned. It turned out I was the one who helped Shuangmu Group through its crisis. After the meeting, it was quite late. We grabbed a quick bite outside. Then we went home to shower and rest. Yanran and I were already lying in bed. Meanwhile, Yanagi Ruin sat on the sofa, looking deeply conflicted. Her phone vibrated. It was a message from strawberry-flavored little fairy. "Wife, what stage is the plan at? Did you successfully kick Maki Kanata out of your mom's room?" She thought for a bit and replied, "The plan hasn't started yet. It's almost bedtime. Why haven't you started?" After some hesitation, she shared her thoughts. "Actually, I'm a bit conflicted now." Strawberry-flavored little fairy was shocked. "You're okay with him being your dad now? You were so against it this morning. What happened?" She frowned. She had been strongly opposed and resistant this morning, but after a day together, she found me quite easy to get along with. But the little fairy's words triggered a memory of Maki Kanata smugly forcing her to call him dad, and her being unable to resist. At that thought, she bolted upright from the sofa. Impossible. Absolutely impossible. Even if she admitted I was excellent, she would never call her former friend Dad. She marched to Yanran's door and knocked. I opened the door and looked at her with a frown. "What? You're not allowed to sleep in the same room as my mom. Your mom and I are a legally married couple. Why can't we sleep together?" "You just can't. I don't agree." I rolled my eyes. "Your disagreement is your business. As long as we're willing, it's fine." I moved to close the door, but she was prepared. She slipped into the room before I could close it, pounced onto the bed, and hugged Yanran. "I'm sleeping here tonight." "You can dream on if you want to sleep with my mom." Yanran tried to persuade her. "Yin, stop it. Go back to your room." But she wouldn't listen. She acted spoiled. "I won't." "Mom, I want to sleep with you tonight. It's been so long since we did." Yanran had to compromise. "Hubby, Yin just missed me too much. I'll sleep with her for one night." "Sorry, but you'll have to take the guest room." Understanding her concerns, I sighed. "Fine. I'll sleep in the guest room tonight." Deep in the night, Yanran was fast asleep, but Yanagi Ruin quietly got out of bed and went to the guest room door. "Maki Kanata, I'm sorry, this is a last resort, but I really don't want you to be my dad, so please leave my mom. I'll definitely repay your kindness to her and the company later." After whispering that, she took a deep breath and opened the door. To her surprise, I wasn't asleep yet. She reacted quickly. She closed the door, messed up her clothes, exposed a shoulder to make it look like I was forcing myself on her, and lunged toward me. I watched as she pounced. I stepped aside and knocked her unconscious with a quick strike to the neck. Looking at the unconscious girl, I reached out and pinched her cheeks. To think a cold campus belle, like you would throw away your own reputation just to separate me from your mom. The more I thought about it, the more annoyed I got, and I pinched harder until her cheeks were slightly red. Only then did I let go, satisfied. I carried her back to Yanran's bed. Just as I was about to go to sleep, a small black object on the floor caught my eye. I picked it up. It was a USB drive. It must belong to her. Dropped during our scuffle. I became curious. Most people don't use a 1 terabyte drive, and the fact that she carried it with her so late at night suggested the contents were very important to her. Don't blame your father for this. You're the one who started it. As they say, know yourself and know your enemy to win 100 battles. It's not too much for me to gather a little intel to stay ahead, is it? I made a decision immediately. I opened the computer in the study and plugged in the USB drive I had picked up. With the hacking skills I had just acquired, a simple password was no match for me. I broke through it in no time. The contents of the drive left me completely stunned. This daughter of mine lived a much more exciting life than I had ever imagined. At first, there were just selfies of Yanagi Ruin. While some were a bit breezy, they weren't exactly exposing. However, as I scrolled further down, the style began to change. Screenshots appeared of her chats with someone named Strawberry-Flavored Little Fairy. The first one was an introduction from Strawberry-Flavored Little Fairy, identifying herself as Ni Xiao Xiao, but the second one was a sudden shift in tone. I've been holding something in my heart for a long time. No matter the result, I have to tell you today, I want to be with you. Yanagi Ruin hadn't replied for a long time. Strawberry-Flavored Little Fairy sent another heartbroken message. I'm sorry, I was impulsive today and scared you. If you're afraid, let's stop seeing each other. But in the end, Yanagi Ruin actually replied with a simple, okay, I promise. Below that were messages from Strawberry-Flavored Little Fairy, sounding like she was absolutely going crazy with joy. This completely bewildered me. It turned out Strawberry-Flavored Little Fairy had confessed her love to Yanagi Ruin, and Yanagi Ruin had actually accepted her. I took a deep breath and continued looking at the photos. Ni Xiao Xiao turned out to be a petite, Lolita-type girl. In the photos, her face was rosy and fair, with large, watery eyes that made one want to protect her at a glance. Most notably, she wore her hair in twin ponytails. The first few were individual photos of Ni Xiao Xiao, but then came group photos of Yanagi Ruin and Ni Xiao Xiao together. These photos left me staring in disbelief. After finishing, I slumped back in my chair. I truly never expected Yanagi Ruin to be like this. No wonder she never had a boyfriend or any close contact with men. I never would have guessed she was gay. Had she stayed with her mother so long that she developed man-hating tendencies? I sat there for a long while, taking deep breaths to calm my mind. Yanagi Ruin, let's see how you escape me now. Trying to kick me away from your mom? No way. I unplugged the drive and returned to my room, humming a happy tune. The next morning, before I was even awake, someone pounded violently on my door. It was accompanied by Yanagi Ruin's piercing scream. Maki Kanata, you pervert! I'm going to kill you. I woke up in a daze and slowly opened the door. To my surprise, the moment the door opened, Yanagi Ruin lunged at me like a madwoman, scratching and clawing with all her might. Although I was still groggy, Yanagi Ruin was no match for me. I quickly subdued her and pinned her down onto the bed. Maki Kanata, she screamed. Shut up, Yanagi Ruin. What kind of madness is this so early in the morning? Just as she was about to curse, I cut her off with a cold shout. She froze for a moment but quickly recovered. You're asking me? Why don't you think about what you did? I never thought you were this kind of person. I really misjudged you. You wolf in sheep's clothing. Her tone was complex, a mix of tears and murderous intent. I was completely baffled. What on earth are you talking about? You did it, yet you're afraid to admit it. She spat back. Just then, Yanagi Enna was awakened by the commotion and rushed over. What's going on? Why are you two fighting again? Seeing Yanagi Enna, I released my grip on her. Yanagi Ruin immediately threw herself into her mother's arms and sobbed, Mom, Maki Kanata, he has designs on me. Yanagi Enna was instantly stunned by those words. I knew I couldn't let her talk nonsense. I immediately retorted, Yanagi Ruin, is that something you can just say lightly? To blacken my name, you've even learned how to frame people? Yanagi Enna sensed something was off. She patted Yanagi Ruin's back. Yin Yin, tell Mom exactly what happened. Let Mom hear the whole story. Hesitantly, Yanagi Ruin claimed she had come to my room during the night. But Yanagi Enna immediately spotted the flaw. Why did you go to Maki Kanata's room in the middle of the night? Flustered, Yanagi Ruin lied. He told me to come over! So I went, but as soon as I entered, he locked the door and knocked me unconscious. And then, thinking about what might have happened while she was out, Yanagi Ruin burst into tears. She didn't believe I hadn't done anything to her. She had only planned to pay a small price for her scheme, not to be taken advantage of so heavily. The more she thought, the more aggrieved she felt. Watching from the side, I couldn't help but speak up. You say I have designs on you just because you say so? Even the police need evidence. Yanagi Ruin gritted her teeth. There are surveillance cameras in the house. Fine, check them then, I said, crossing my arms with total indifference. The three of us went to the security room. Yanagi Ruin stared at the screen, feeling pained and wronged. The footage sped by until 6:20 a.m., but Yanagi Ruin's figure never appeared in the hallway going to my room. She was instantly stunned. Under her mother's questioning gaze, she rushed to the monitor in disbelief. Impossible! I clearly went there. How could it not be there? She rewound the time and watched again, even checking other cameras in the hallway. No matter how many times she watched, her figure was nowhere to be seen. At that moment, she was completely dumbfounded. I took the opportunity to step forward. Now, as you suggested, we've checked the footage and you aren't there. Doesn't that prove you're talking nonsense? Luckily, before leaving last night, I had used my hacking skills to fix the footage. Yin, you probably just had a dream. You're confused from sleep, Yanagi said gently, trying to give her daughter a way out. Impossible. I clearly went. How could it be a dream? I remember it so clearly, she pointed at me. It must be you. Did you tamper with it? I was startled inwardly. She had actually guessed correctly. However, seeing her target me repeatedly, Yanagi could no longer stand it. She shouted coldly, Yanagi Ruin, how old are you? Do you know what you're doing? Yanagi Ruin was terrified. Panic flashed across her face. She had never seen her mother this angry, even calling her by her full name. I know you've been against Maki Kanata and me, but how could you use such low-handed methods to force us apart? You're even throwing away your own reputation. And even if you don't accept him as a father, he is the savior of Shuangmu Group. Is this how you treat a benefactor? Yanagi-ena's voice was full of heartache and disappointment. After speaking, she led me away. Left alone, Yanagi-Ruin panicked for a while before re-examining her memories. She was certain I had altered the footage. She immediately copied the surveillance logs from the computer and sent them to a technical expert she knew, asking for a check. A moment later, the expert replied, "The logs are normal. No signs of tampering." She was stunned but asked persistently, "Are you sure?" I definitely walked through that hallway last night. Were you dreaming? This footage is flawless. If there were any traces of editing, my skills would have caught them. I dare say no one can escape my eyes unless they're a god. Her face turned pale. This expert was top tier. If even he said the footage was fine, was she really just dreaming? In a daze, Yanagi Ruin returned to her room. She lay on her bed, staring blankly at the ceiling as thoughts raced through her mind. Suddenly, she had a realization. She ran to the bathroom to check her body. If something had really happened, there should be marks or pain. But no matter how she checked, she felt no abnormality at all. Was it really just a dream because I was thinking about it too much? The thought that her virtue was still intact made her heave a massive sigh of relief. She realized she had wrongly accused me because of a dream. He must feel terrible too, she thought. Unsure of what to do, she decided to go and apologize to me. Meanwhile, on the other side of the house, I was looking at my phone with excitement. I was completely immersed in the joy of seeing my stocks skyrocket. At that moment, a figure appeared outside my half-open door. "What are you doing, acting so suspicious?" I called out. Startled by my shout, Yanagi Ruin slowly pushed the door open and entered. Her head was bowed, and her fingers twisted nervously. "I'm not being suspicious. I'm here to apologize." Her voice was as soft as a mosquito's buzz. I couldn't help but laugh. Who apologizes that quietly? "Is this enough then? Are you going to listen or not?" she snapped, raising her volume. I looked at her with interest. "That's more like it. Go ahead and apologize." She gritted her teeth. "Maki Kanata, I'm sorry. I was wrong today. I shouldn't have made baseless accusations. I didn't realize the severity of the situation. I solemnly apologize to you again," she said, looking down. I could tell she was sincere. As a father, I wasn't going to hold a grudge. However, it would be a waste not to take advantage of this opportunity. Your apology is very sincere. Agree to one more request and I'll forgive you. Her eyes lit up. What request? "From now on, you must call me Dad." The moment the words left my mouth, she jumped up like a cat whose tail had been stepped on. There was a thud as something fell to the floor, but her angry voice drowned it out. "That's impossible," she yelled. I shrugged my shoulders. "Then I won't forgive you." Yanagi Ruin turned to leave in a huff, but her eyes caught the USB drive on the ground. Her face instantly turned to panic, and she instinctively reached down to pick it up. I chuckled, darting forward to snatch the drive first. I toyed with it in my hand. "This drive looks pretty good." She jumped in frustration. "That's my USB drive? Never! I'd rather die than call you Dad." She tried to play it cool. "Keep the drive if you want. There's nothing important on it anyway." I let out a meaningful smile. "Then I'll keep it. Thanks." She was stunned, clearly not expecting me to actually keep it. She quickly changed her tune. "I have some documents on there. Give it back first." "Let me save them." Then I promise to give it to you. That won't do. Your mom hasn't seen the content yet. At those words, panic flashed in her eyes once more. However, she quickly regained her composure, remembering the drive was password protected. She acted indifferent. It's just some study materials. It's nothing. I lightly breathed out 2 words. Ni. Xiao xiao. She instantly lost her soul, staggering back a few steps. Her eyes were filled with shock. How do you know that name? She asked, trembling. I slowly detailed the contents of the drive to her. Her eyes widened. I know now. I wasn't dreaming. I really did go to your room last night. The USB drive was taken then. You must be a tech expert. Otherwise, you couldn't have cracked my password or erased the footage. Yep, I admitted bluntly to her. Realization finally dawned on her. Without warning, she raised her hand to slap me. I easily caught her wrist. She gritted her teeth in fury. I never imagined you were a tech master, to handle the footage so well. Even the person I found couldn't see a trace of it. I know a little bit, I replied nonchalantly. This attitude infuriated her even more. You say it so lightly. Did you plan this all along? You knew I'd check the video, so you processed it beforehand and let my mom think I was framing you. You forced me to apologize like a servant. I shook my head. You're quite good at shifting the blame. You were the one who framed me first. Luckily, I had the skills to dodge it. Otherwise, I'd be the one suffering. You're just reaping what you sowed. Those words left her stunned. It was true, she started it. Fine, I was wrong, but I've apologized. Can you give me back the drive now? The naive request made me laugh. Why on earth would I give it back to you? If you don't give it back, don't even think about being with my mom. I remained unmoved. If I give it back, you still won't let me be with your mom, so I might as well keep it. Maybe I'll share the contents with her. She was so angry her chest heaved, but she was helpless. She couldn't out-argue me, and she couldn't take it by force. If I didn't want to give it back, she had no options. Moreover, if she made a scene, the secret would be exposed. That was her biggest fear. Losing face was a small matter compared to that. She was afraid her mother would forbid her from seeing Ni Xiao Xiao. She couldn't take that risk, even for a moment. Swallowing her pride, she squeezed out a smile. What will it take for you to give it back? I laughed, looking at the girl who had finally lowered her head. I pinched her fair cheek. So, you figured it out? You know how to bow down now? Where did all that aggression go? Weren't you acting all tough since you got home? She didn't dare resist, letting me pinch her cheek while she glared at me. Same as before. Call me Dad and I'll consider it. If you don't, I'll show this drive to your mother, I threatened. Hearing the threat, she instinctively backed away. Her lips trembled, but no sound came out at first. After trying countless times in her heart, she closed her eyes and bit her teeth. She finally forced out, Dad! After saying it, she felt as if all her strength had been drained. Her mind went blank. Her pride and dignity had collapsed in an instant. Good girl, I smiled with satisfaction. I patted her head, like one would a child's. She stared at my smile, noticing it wasn't perverted or disgusting. It actually felt somewhat kind. Having grown up in an orphanage, she always lacked a father figure. At that moment, she felt a strange melancholy. She felt she saw the image of the father she always longed for in me. She shook her head violently. Am I crazy to have such a thought? Coming back to her senses, she resumed her stubbornness. I've called you that. Give it back. I chuckled. I never said I'd give it to you right away. I said I'd consider it. You? She suppressed her rage. What exactly do you want? I lay back lazily on the bed. Be on your best behavior. You wore me out last night, and now you're disturbing my rest. How about you give me a massage? That's not too much to ask, right? She immediately flared up. Not too much? Don't even think about it. She had always avoided men, let alone such close contact. She turned to leave. However, she noticed I had no intention of stopping her. Panic set in as she imagined her secret being exposed to her mother. Her footsteps slowed. She was screaming in her head for me to call her back. Caught between a rock and a hard place, she turned back. She suddenly rushed to the bed and straddled me. A massage, right? Who's afraid of who? She began pounding on me. Surprisingly, I let out a comfortable sigh. Nice strength. Keep going. Are you a turtle? Doesn't that hurt? She asked. If I'm a turtle, then you're a turtle's daughter. A little turtle. This really provoked her, and she increased her strength. But even with her full strength, it felt like a tickle to me. The room fell into an eerie silence. I enjoyed the massage leisurely. Seeing her small hands growing tired, I issued a threat to keep her going. Just then, the door was suddenly pushed open. Yanagi Enna stood there, staring at the scene in shock. Both of us turned our heads. The air seemed to freeze. I recalled how I had met Yanagi Enna. I hadn't expected her to be my date. She had mentioned a daughter 5 years younger than me. I had seen the photo of her and said age wasn't an issue. Back in the present, Yanagi Enna stood there, dumbfounded. We stared at each other for 10 long seconds. Yanagi Enna rubbed her eyes, wondering if she was seeing things. Her daughter was sitting on me, giving me a massage. "What are you two doing?" Yanagi Enna finally asked. In her mind, it was a miracle if her daughter wasn't fighting me. Yanagi Ruin snapped out of it and jumped off me, looking terrified. She was incredibly guilty, caught in such an embarrassing moment, but casually rolled over and smiled. "She's giving me a massage." Yanagi Enna's expression became complicated and full of disbelief. "Maybe her conscience got the better of her," I added. "I even told Yanagi Enna her technique was pretty good." "And Ruin has already accepted me as her father," I said. Knowing I had the USB drive, she had no choice but to agree. "Yes, I've accepted Maki Kanata as my father," she forced out. Hearing the confirmation, Yanagi Enna's eyes immediately filled with joy. "Hubby, I admire you so much. You actually did it," she said. I feigned modesty while feeling proud of my success. Then she brought up the sales of the Life is Like a Dream perfume. "We sold 43,000 bottles in 1 hour, she reported happily. We also discussed how the rival group's product was about to fail due to quality issues. Just then, a safety and quality inspection report concerning the new product, jointly released by the Shiyun Group and the Luwei Group, was exposed. Like a nuclear bomb, this report triggered a massive sensation across the internet. An event that originally had little traction suddenly surged to the top of the trending searches on major news platforms. Holy crap, is this report for real? The new product from Shiyun and Luwei contains sodium phenolate, a corrosive substance. According to the report, this stuff can cause skin allergies or even chemical burns, users exclaimed. Who would dare use it now? Shiyun and Luwei must have some nerves. It's said that sodium phenolate definitely does that when it touches the skin, others commented. People wondered if the report was reliable. They couldn't believe Shiyun dared to include such ingredients. However, the issuing institution was highly reputable and unlikely to reckless, making the news likely true. One victim came forward, guaranteeing the report's accuracy. After using the product, their entire face broke out in red spots and itched intensely. Fortunately, they rushed to the hospital. The doctor thought they'd been exposed to hazardous waste. Any later and their face would have been ruined. Crap. Thank goodness I bought it but haven't used it yet. I still had my old cosmetics and planned to finish them first. Otherwise, I would have been hit too. Everyone, tell your sisters quickly, a user posted. At first, there were only scattered complaints from a few consumers. Shiyun Group and Luwei Group were able to suppress these using Water Army internet trolls and other methods. But now, with the appearance of the Product Safety and Quality Inspection Report, the matter had reached the trending charts. This was no longer something that could be settled by buying trolls or banning accounts. Moreover, Sato-san had sought out the most authoritative testing agency. Coupled with the continuous voices of the victims, the authenticity of the report was solidified. Even passers-by online began speaking up on their behalf. Under Sato-san's careful planning, the events were linked together perfectly. The safety and quality issues of the new products from Shiyun and Luwei finally exploded completely. For Shiyun Group and Luwei Group, this day felt as if the sky itself was falling. The internet was filled with fierce attacks against them. Consumers called the company lines incessantly to complain, and some even began organizing to sue both companies. Naturally, Maki Kanata and Yanagi Enna were secretly delighted by this situation. These two companies had long been the arch-rivals of the Shuangmu Group. Their current crisis was undoubtedly a boon for Shuangmu. Once these two companies were finished, the market share they originally occupied would be swallowed up by the Shuangmu Group. With an excellent product like Life is Like a Dream currently in hand, Shuangmu's future appeared exceptionally bright. Although many good pieces of news arrived that day, what made Yanagi Enna happiest was the shift in Yanagi Ruine's attitude toward Maki Kanata. She recalled how the person who showed up for the blind date turned out to be a young, elegant woman. The woman had mentioned she had a daughter 5 years younger than him and asked if he minded. Upon seeing the photo of his school beauty ex-girlfriend, Maki Kanata had quickly said that age was not an issue. To his surprise, the woman had suggested that if he didn't mind, they should go ahead and register their marriage. That single sentence had caused his brain to stall. Only then did he realize she was his actual blind date. Currently, Yanagi-ena was overjoyed by the news. In her excitement, she couldn't help but hug Maki Kanata and plant a kiss on his cheek. Standing nearby, Yanagi-ruin was stunned as she witnessed this scene. She felt incredibly uncomfortable in her heart. Watching her mother seemingly fall into the hands of a demon, she even felt an impulse to rush forward and pull them apart. However, this time it was her mother who took the initiative to kiss him, and since they were a legally married couple, she had no grounds to stop them. Furthermore, since Maki Kanata held the leverage of her USB drive, she had to endure her displeasure regardless of how upset she felt. Consequently, Yanagi-ruin could do nothing but glare at Maki Kanata with fierce, resentful eyes. But Maki Kanata was no longer afraid of her. In the past, he might have given her some face, but now he was her father. He felt he could do as he pleased with his own wife. Therefore, he did not restrain himself. Instead, he continued his intimacy with Yanagi-ena right in front of her. Unable to bear the sight any longer, Yanagi-ruin simply squeezed her eyes shut. At that moment, Maki Kanata suddenly asked her, "Why are you closing your eyes?" This question immediately set her off. She barked angrily. "Am I not allowed to close my eyes? Am I supposed to just stand here and watch you two being affectionate?" Maki Kanata felt speechless. He told her to be more sensible. Instead of closing her eyes, shouldn't she leave the room and give her mother and him some space? Hearing this, Yanagi-ruin snapped her eyes open and looked at him crossly. "You want me to leave? What else do you plan to do? Isn't this enough? You want me gone so you can do something even more indecent?" Although she called him dad and barely tolerated some of their intimacy, she couldn't stand it if he pushed his luck, especially with such a blatant display. She pointed out it was broad daylight and complained that it was shameless enough to be affectionate in front of her, let alone wanting to do more. After hearing her words, Maki Kanata and Yanagi-ena glanced at each other. Realizing she had a point, they stopped their actions. Maki Kanata told himself to endure a little longer. Once Yanagi-ruin's holiday ended and she went back, there would be plenty of time. Just then, Maki Kanata's phone rang. He checked the screen and told Yanagi-ena with a smile that there was another piece of good news. Yanagi-ena was clearly surprised. There had already been 3 pieces of good news today, and now there was a 4th. She hurriedly asked what the good news was. Maki Kanata explained that it was a call from Oljang, the leader of the Yalong Bay construction team. Based on the excavation progress, they had likely dug up the Dreamy Star Sea Stone today. He had previously left the Yalong Bay site to the Xuanwu team for supervision, and instructed the construction crew to dig out all the Dreamy Star Sea stones as quickly as possible. He had told them to call him immediately once the stones were fully unearthed. This call from Oljang was surely meant to report the success. Sure enough, as soon as he answered, he heard Oljang's voice. "President Mu, that giant stone has been dug out." Maki Kanata smiled and told Oljang they had worked hard. He promised to transfer some money for them to share so the brothers could have a nice meal that evening. On the other end of the line, Oljang was delighted to hear they were getting a bonus. They were originally sent by the group to help and were already receiving their company's salaries. Getting an extra reward now was a bonus. "Thank you, President Mu. I thank you on behalf of the brothers," Oljang said. After hanging up, Maki Kanata transferred 100,000 yuan to Oljang. While not a massive sum, it meant 2,000 or 3,000 yuan per person, which was enough to make everyone very happy. "I told you, right? Another good news. Let's go check it out now," Maki Kanata said to Yanagi-ena with a smile. "Hubby, you're simply amazing. Let's go then," Yanagi-ena responded. The two of them dressed up slightly and prepared to head out. However, as expected, Yanagi-ruin requested to tag along again. With Yanagi-ruin in tow, Maki Kanata drove the car straight toward Yalong Bay. When they arrived at the excavation site, they saw a massive pit in the ground. The Dreamy Star Sea Stone lay there quietly. Its surroundings had already been cordoned off by the ore researchers Maki Kanata had summoned, and they had begun specific surveys of the stone. After exchanging greetings, Maki Kanata, Yanagi-ena, and Yanagi-ruin entered the cordoned-off inner area. The Dreamy Star Sea Stone, lying at the bottom of the pit, then came into full view. Upon seeing it, Yanagi-ruin immediately recognized the massive black boulder. "Such a huge Dreamy Star Sea Stone!" she cried out in shock. Her exclamation caused both Maki Kanata and Yanagi-ena to look at her in surprise. Maki Kanata asked her how she recognized it. When Oljang had called, she wasn't present, and they hadn't mentioned the purpose of the trip, so she shouldn't have known they were looking for a Starseed stone. Furthermore, this stone wasn't a polished finished product like those on the market. Currently, it was encased in unremarkable black rock. Facing his questioning, Yanagi Ruane was still in a state of shock and asked him repeatedly for confirmation if it really was the legendary stone. Maki Kanata nodded, confirming her suspicion. How is this possible? It really is the dreamy Starseed stone. I recognized it correctly, but it's just too big, she exclaimed. Her reaction was so intense because she knew the value of these stones, and the size of this one far exceeded her comprehension. She recognized it because she had seen one at a friend's house once. Even though her friend's piece was only a few grams, it was worth over 10 million, more expensive than diamonds. She wondered how much this gargantuan dreamy Starseed stone would be worth now. Yanagi Ruin stared at the stone, constantly asking them how they found it and exactly how large it was. Yanagi Anna then recounted the entire process, from buying Yalong Bay to discovering the stone. As she listened, Yanagi Ruine's eyes grew wider and her mouth stayed open. By the end, the way she looked at Maki Kanata was full of disbelief. She finally understood everything, from Maki Kanata choosing to bid on this worthless land at the auction to later abandoning the bid just to trap Liu Xiun. Then, he had his mother secretly buy it back from Liu Xiun later on. The moment it was bought back, he rushed here and precisely located the spot on this vast land to dig it out. Everything proved that Maki Kanata had known from the very beginning that this place held a giant stone that could drive people mad with greed. This was the second time Yanagi Ruane felt that Maki Kanata had the ability to foresee the future. The first time was when he sensed the quality issues with Xiun and Luoe's products ahead of time. The second time was this giant stone. She couldn't help but ask, Maki Kanata, can you really see the future? Facing her suspicion, Maki Kanata laughed and said, yeah, I am an immortal. A male immortal. A male god in short. Yanagi Ruin was startled for a second by his words, but as soon as she heard the term male god, she immediately rolled her eyes. Although she internally admitted he was indeed outstanding, she would never say it out loud. Besides, no truly excellent person would praise themselves like that. So having a male god father like me is your honor, my good daughter, Maki Kanata teased. She said nothing in response, simply continuing to roll her eyes at him. However, she was losing her strength to resist him. Even if he was right about being excellent, she still felt a bit of psychological resistance because he was a peer not much older than her. While she was lost in thought, a group of people with filming equipment approached Maki Kanata. Hello, are you Mr. Mu? A cute girl with a round face, short hair, and 2 dimples asked him. Her name was Hinako, a TV station reporter. Having heard a giant dreamy Starseed stone was found, she introduced herself and prepared to start an interview. Yes, this way please, Maki Kanata replied. He led the TV crew, including Hinako and her photographers, into the restricted area. When everyone arrived at the edge of the pit and saw the giant stone below, their mouths dropped open in unison. They had done their homework and knew such a stone was priceless. While the wealth didn't belong to them, having an exclusive scoop was a major hit that would guarantee high ratings and bonuses. Mr. Mu, may we take some photos? It would be even better if we could conduct an interview with you, Hinako said, her dimples showing cutely. Sure, Maki Kanata agreed readily. He wasn't being cooperative because the reporter was cute, but because he was the one who had invited the press. He wanted to use the TV station to spread the news of the giant stone far and wide. He would not refuse the interview, as his strategy had been carefully considered. This way, Liu Xian would find out sooner. Once she learned the land she bought high and sold low held a priceless treasure, she would likely spit blood in rage. On the other hand, Maki Kanata was conducting an experiment. In his, quote, future information sheet, this stone was sold for 4.68 billion, but as the land auction showed, the future could be changed. He wanted more potential buyers to know. After learning more about the stone, he felt its value might actually exceed 4.68 billion. Since global reserves of dreamy Starseed stone were low and mostly in private collections, it was hard to find even a single gram on the market. If he could gather interested parties for a bidding war, the price would surely soar. He then cooperated with the TV station for an interview lasting over half an hour. Mr. Mu, thank you for accepting the interview, Hinako and the reporters said as they prepared to leave quickly. They had a lot of prep work to do before the news could air, and if they delayed, other media outlets might scoop them, costing them their traffic and bonuses. Understanding their rush, Maki Kanata told them it was fine and wished them a safe trip back. Once the TV crew left, Maki Kanata had nothing left to do there. He told Yanagi Ena and Yanagi Ruane they should head back and wait for buyers to come to them. "We're just leaving. You're leaving the Dreamy Star Sea stone here? Won't it be stolen?" Yanagi Ruane asked, worried about the stone in the pit. Maki Kanata told her not to worry, claiming that the person capable of stealing this stone hadn't even been born yet. He then ushered her into the back seat, started the car, and drove away. In reality, he had already instructed the Shimanwu team to guard the stone before leaving. Just as they left Yalong Bay, a squad of burly men appeared, protecting the stone so thoroughly that not a drop of water could leak through. At that moment, the Cullinan was speeding down the road. Maki Kanata and Yanagi Ena soon arrived at the Shuangmu group. Since Life is Like a Dream had just hit the market and Shiyun and Luowei were in chaos, it was the perfect time for Shuangmu to seize market share. Yanagi Ena had many matters to handle personally. Having nothing else to do, Maki Kanata and Yanagi Ruin stayed at the company with her. Yanagi Ena went to a meeting with the high-level executives. This left only Maki Kanata and Yanagi Ruin in her office. Maki Kanata sat in the boss's chair, casually playing mobile games to pass the time. Yanagi Ruin, meanwhile, stood behind the chair, obediently giving him a massage. From time to time, she poured tea and water for him. Naturally, none of this was of her own free will. She recalled how her mother had forced her to go on a blind date. She hadn't expected the date to be with a woman slightly older than her. The woman had mentioned having a daughter 5 years younger than him. Upon seeing the photo of her school beauty ex-girlfriend, Maki Kanata had said age wasn't an issue, but the woman had suggested they get their marriage license immediately. That moment had caused his brain to freeze before realizing the woman herself was the match. Currently, Yanagi Ruin was working hard on the massage. Sensing the timing was right, she began thinking about asking for a reward. While kneading his shoulders, she spoke up in a soft, delicate voice. Maki Kanata immediately replied, "Yes, what is it, my good daughter? Dad, what do you think of my technique? Is it comfortable?" she asked, leaning in. Much better than before. But you still need to keep practicing," he replied. Her expression stiffened slightly, but she quickly forced a compliant smile. "Thank you for the praise, Dad. Since I'm working so hard, shouldn't you give me a reward? I'm being so well behaved now. Could you return that USB drive to me?" she asked. Maki Kanata turned around, stared at her obviously fake smile, and asked, "Do you think I'm stupid?" He told her there was no way. If she got the drive back, she would immediately revert to her old, defiant self. As expected, the moment he refused, she exploded in anger. "Maki Kanata, what exactly do you want before you'll return it?" She screamed that he was driving her crazy and that she had never treated a man this well in her entire life. Maki Kanata replied indifferently, "I'm your father. It's only right for you to treat me well." He pointed out that she was only being this good because he held the drive. If he gave it back, she would turn on him instantly. These words left her speechless, because he was exactly right. Without that leverage, she wouldn't be giving him massages every day. Yanagi Ruin was in a dilemma. If she didn't comply, the drive's contents would be exposed. If she did, she was basically his servant. She was being tortured to the point of losing hope. Maki Kanata watched her and figured she was worried about the future. If she was already serving tea and giving massages now, who knew what he would come up with later? Just as Maki Kanata was contemplating how to continue training the young girl, she suddenly looked as if she had seen a ghost, shoved his chair away, and ran out, nearly making him fall. He had actually been thinking that if she didn't sabotage his relationship with Yanagi Ena, he might return the drive and keep her secret, but then she pulled that stunt. Note: the original text includes a meta-commentary about the book's data and a request to search for it on QQ Reading, which is omitted here to maintain the narrative translation. Note: continuation of meta-commentary regarding updates. Note: continuation of meta-commentary regarding searching the title. Note: continuation of meta-commentary regarding typo checks. Note: continuation of meta-commentary regarding deleted content. Since Maki Kanata couldn't stay in the office alone anymore, he decided to check on Yanagi Ena's meeting room. When he arrived at the meeting room and pushed open the door, he heard a loud clamor inside. The Shuangmu group executives were in a heated discussion. At the sound of the door opening, everyone glared over simultaneously. Before they saw it was him, their expressions were somewhat irritated. But as soon as they recognized him, their eyes brightened, and they all began to smile warmly at him. Feeling a bit embarrassed, Maki Kanata scratched his head and apologized for interrupting their meeting. Just as he was about to leave, he heard Yanagi Ena speak from behind him. "Alright, that's all for today's meeting. Everyone is dismissed." After speaking, Yanagi Ena stood up, grabbed Maki Kanata's hand, and let him out. This left the executives in the room, looking at each other in bewilderment. Once they saw the two leaving hand in hand, the room erupted into gossip. "Our President Leo is really a husband-doting demon. I'm so jealous of Mr. Mu. She really puts him first," they remarked. They wondered about Maki Kanata's background. Even though the meeting was canceled, their interest in gossip was much higher than their interest in work. When they returned to the office, Yanagi-ena looked around and asked where Yanagi-ruin had gone. Maki Kanata casually replied that she had run out just a moment ago. While talking to Yanagi-ena, Maki Kanata suddenly felt a chill down his spine. He turned around. He saw Yanagi-ena approaching him step by step with a mischievous smirk. Before he could react, she gave him a gentle push, and he fell back onto the sofa. After 2 hours of sweet dual play, it was completely dark outside. When Maki Kanata and Yanagi-ena finished tidying up the office and took the elevator to leave, they ran into Sato-san. Seeing the slightly flushed complexions of both Maki Kanata and Yanagi-ena, Sato-san couldn't help but ask why they were still at the company. Sato-san was surprised because he had stayed late at the lab after the meeting. He hadn't expected to bump into them at such an hour. Maki Kanata quickly tried to smooth things over, laughing and saying the company was in an upward phase, so he and Yanagi-ena were discussing the group's future plans. Sato-san, the old fox, shifted his gaze between Maki Kanata and the blushing head-bowed Yanagi-ena. He seemed to guess something, but didn't ask further. When the elevator reached the first floor, Sato-san politely said goodbye and left. Only after he left did Yanagi-ena raise her head and angrily punch Maki Kanata. She blamed him for playing so late that they were caught by Sato-san. Maki Kanata felt wronged and told her he wouldn't take the blame since she was the one who started it. This left Yanagi-ena speechless. She pouted with an aggrieved look, knowing she really hadn't been able to help herself. Since Yanagi-ruin usually clung to them every day, she hadn't wanted to miss a rare opportunity to be alone with him. Looking at her cute expression, Maki Kanata couldn't resist reaching out to pinch her rosy cheek. At that moment, the two had no idea that this scene had already become the center of the entire company's gossip. Yanagi-ena then took Maki Kanata to Excellence Plaza. Since it was late at night, the auto show was closed and the area was pitch black. Confused, Maki Kanata asked his wife why they had come there in the middle of the night. "Oh, just follow me," Yanagi-ena said with a wink, sounding very mysterious. She pulled him through various twists and turns in the exhibition hall until they reached a display platform. Maki Kanata then realized that, although the show was closed, staff were busy unloading several large wooden crates from a truck and unpacking them. Once the crates were fully opened, Maki Kanata saw 6 gleaming luxury cars lined up right in front of him. His eyes went wide as he stared at them. Just then, Yanagi-ena hugged him from behind and said coquettishly, "Hubby, I'm sorry, I could only get these 5 limited edition luxury cars." Maki Kanata was stunned by the sight. "Wife, what is all this for?" "These are all gifts for you," Yanagi-ena said, her face beaming with a bright smile. It turned out that ever since she noticed his love for cars, she had secretly had Sato Yui scour the globe to buy the 3 cars from the show at any price, plus 2 new models from abroad. Maki Kanata was incredibly moved. He told her that he had enough cars and hadn't even driven all the ones at home yet. "I don't care," Yanagi-ena said, throwing herself into his arms. "I want to buy whatever you like. If you can't drive them all, just look at them. As long as you're happy, I'm happy." Hearing this, Maki Kanata was overwhelmed with emotion. This silly girl had remembered his interest from the car show and spent so much money and effort just to please him. As he stood there dazed, Yanagi-ena became worried by his silence. "Hubby, why aren't you saying anything? Do you not like them?" she asked hurriedly. Maki Kanata pulled her into a hug, kissed her on the forehead, and assured her that he loved them and that she was far too good to him. Yanagi-ena finally beamed with joy. In her heart, as long as Maki Kanata was happy, any amount of money spent was worth it. This small sum was nothing to her. The nearby staff members watching this scene felt a secret wave of envy. At the last car show, they had already witnessed this beautiful CEO's habit of spending money like water. Watching her drop a fortune on luxury cars just to coax a smile out of her husband, every one of them was incredibly jealous. While Maki Kanata and Yanagi-ena were lost in their affectionate moment, the voice of the system suddenly echoed in his mind. "Ding! Congratulations to the host for obtaining 5 luxury cars. Soft rice, assets increased by 126 million. Total, soft rice, Assets have surpassed 400 million. Reward: 30% shares of the Hongyan Group. Ding! Congratulations to the host for reaching level 4. Daily cash growth rate increased to 40%. Reward: advanced face mask formula. Total assets have surpassed 450 million. Reward: God-level charm. Maki Kanata thought to himself that it had been a long time since he and Yanagi Ena had farmed system rewards together since Yanagi Ruone came home. Today was finally a big haul. He quickly did the math. Now he could earn 40% of 486 million just by lying down nearly 200 million a day. That was 6 billion a month, 72 billion a year. Even he was startled by the numbers. He realized that Yanagi Ena's Shuangmu Group didn't even reach such high profits in previous years. To get so much money for doing nothing was simply outrageous. What was even better was that the system thoughtfully provided the remaining 30% of Hongyan Group's shares. Combined with the previous 70%, he now had total control of the entire group. The system also provided him with a loyal little assistant to handle the group's affairs. This meant he could be a completely hands-off boss and just wait to count his money every day. The biggest surprise for him was the advanced face mask formula. This thing was heaven-defying. It didn't just hydrate and whiten, it could even repair skin texture and imperfections. Compared to this, big-name masks on the market were mere toys. High-priced treatments at beauty salons couldn't even match half the effect of this mask. System-produced items were truly top-tier. If this formula hit the market, it would absolutely crush all other brands. As for the god-level charm, he felt he was already handsome enough. He wondered if this reward was a bit redundant while he mulled it over. Yanagi Ena came skipping over to him, telling him that the cars were all settled and she had ordered them to be delivered directly to the house later. "Thank you, wife. You're the best," he said, pulling her in for a series of kisses until she was smiling like a flower. He then spoke mysteriously, telling her that since she gave him such an expensive gift, he had to give her something in return. "Really? What is it?" Yanagi Ena asked, her large eyes blinking with anticipation as she looked at him. He reached out and handed her the face mask formula. As she flipped through it, her eyes grew brighter and brighter. "Oh my god, hubby, where did you get this formula?" "Hee, I dreamed about it again, of course." He lied without blushing or a racing heartbeat. Yanagi Ena was delighted to hear this. "Hubby, you're too incredible!" She held the formula like a precious treasure, becoming more excited as she read. The effects of the mask were miraculous. Beyond whitening and hydration, it could even repair enlarged pores. If they could produce it, it would surely be even more popular than Life is Like a Dream. Although Life is Like a Dream already dominated the perfume market, fragrance was ultimately a niche interest. The real profit in the beauty industry lay in daily essentials like masks and cleansers. Relying solely on a perfume, the Shuangmu Group would at most be a leader in the fragrance world, never a true beauty giant. But things were different now. He had casually produced a face mask formula, a trump card product that occupied half of the beauty market. With this in hand, the Shuangmu Group would be unstoppable. Just thinking about the future made Yanagi Ena feel that the path ahead was brilliantly bright.